I heard there was a question going around about what turns a guy on in bed every time. Well, if you ask me, it's turning on Triple Threat's Vet Podcast every Thursday night and watching Al Hero spit on that thing. Get me?
Spit that fuck and spit on that thing. Get me?
What's up, everybody? It's the Triple Threat Vet Podcast. You're live in the building for another episode. I'm your man, DJ Royalty, and we're going to do it again. I'm glad that y'all made it back. No more delay. Let's do what we do. Bring the boys in. Triple Threat Vet Podcast.
Holy shit.
That's a
Listen.
tongue twister, baby. Goodness gracious.
Hey, I just got to make a public service announcement. I know that was a little bit crude. I went back and forth on, should we put this at the beginning? And then I just said, fuck it, let's do it.
Hey, if you ever have a question on should you put it in there, the only thing you have to do is go, what would Al Hero do? And the answer is always going to be yes. It's never going to be no. Ever. I will tell you this, though. What do you think would happen if Dusty Rudd and Al Hero got let loose in Las Vegas with no strings attached, meaning money's not an issue and they can do whatever they want for a weekend?
The police will be involved. Somebody would be getting carried away in a car.
Yeah.
We'll be hearing about it.
Dude. They'd make a movie out of that freaking trip, and it would be better than The Hangover. You know what I mean? It would be
That'd
crazy.
be that Hangover redo.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now edition.
Yeah.
Right. Hang on one or hang on two.
Yeah. The dynamic duo strikes again.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. We should probably try to make that happen. That could be a lot of fun. That could we could have a lot of content come from that.
Hey, that was my man Dusty, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, Dusty looks good with no hair, bro. I was like, look at Dusty, man. His beard was all trimmed up, man. He had no hair. I
He
like
must
it,
have been
man.
going to church.
I like it. He went on ahead and went full forehead all the way back, just like me, just like Ty. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? We turn the forehead into a forever
bit
head.
I got.
Yeah. Yeah. Berto Fight, same thing. We turn the forehead to a forever head. That's what
Yeah.
we do. Matt, come on, join the crew, baby.
Never. Not yet. It's gonna have to fall out. I'm gonna have to look like Rich Eisen from the NFL Network before I fucking do that, bro.
Yeah.
Where
Hey,
he's
you
like
got a nice voice like Rich Eisen.
What I'm saying is he's got scribbles. So if there's scribbles, dude, just get rid of it, right? Dude, I will transplant hair from my face to the top of my head before I shave it all out, dude. I'm just telling you.
Wow.
It won't be pretty, dude. Do you think I got big ears before no hair? Bro.
Trust me, but nobody looks at your ears, bro. That's just real reality. Nobody looks at your ears.
does?
Yeah, nobody does.
Maybe not today.
your wife. Huh?
Let me shave my head and see how many people say some shit. You talk about big foreheads? Wait till it happened when I shave my head.
Nobody cares about ears. I don't think. You seen them MMA fighters,
Well,
bro.
so
They got
here-
them cauliflower
Huh?
ears. Nobody cares. Them MMA fighters, they got them cauliflower ears
Yeah,
all
those
the
dudes
time.
are tough as
Nobody cares.
shit, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, they're tough, though.
Hey, so
They get it in.
we
But
do have to
here's
talk
the
about
thing, though.
something. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was okay. I'm ready. I was just gonna say, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming in. Season 2, episode 1. It's time. It's about to get down, man. It's time for the second year of this thing. It's time to get up into it. So I just want to tell everybody, thank you for joining. We appreciate you being here. And as always, like, subscribe, and tell all your friends. They need to be here today. You need to tell them. They need to come on in.
Yeah.
Now, on to the important matter. Ty, what did we do wrong?
Oh, no, nothing wrong. I want to talk. I got a note here. It says something about NBA draft, LeBron and Bronny. What's that mean to you, Scott? What does that mean to you?
Well, you know,
Because you were here when that happened, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, what it means is, in a nutshell, what it means is the world is about to experience something that they have never experienced before. And I'm just going to tell you right now, while I'm here, I'm going to tell you right now, go ahead and get your peanuts and your popcorn ready, because it's going to be a show. Whenever your dad has a chance to play ball with his son, who he has raised, he used to be in his balls. Like I tell my kids, used to swim around in my balls. Now you guys are running around here telling me what you're not going to do. What the world is about to do is they're going to experience someone who used to swim around inside of someone's balls actually be able to play basketball in the same arena, on the same floor, in front of the whole world. And you're going to see what releasing your balls does. Everybody, you're going to see it in full stream. I see my man Kyle eating pizza in the back. He knows what's about to happen. The world knows what's about to happen. I just want you guys to be ready for it. And when it comes, just know that the Big Hot Tizzle told you so. Matt, go ahead.
So
I see
let's
what you're
be-
going to say.
Let's be honest real quick. I have no idea what you're talking about. So for us people that are challenged with watching TV and understanding and keeping up with sports, we all understand that Bronny was in the balls. We got that part.
Yeah, he was in there.
completely clear on.
Yeah. Now,
Are they both? Where are they playing at next year? That's the question.
Showtime Lakers, baby.
Oh my God! I'm only asking because I did see something on social media the other day when I was like flipping through it that some rapper or somebody told LeBron he'd pay half his salary if his son and him would go play in Chicago.
Oh wow. Well, that's not going to happen.
That's not allowed by the collective bargaining agreement, I don't think.
I don't know. I'm just saying. He's like, if the Bulls won't pay for it, I'll pay. I'll put up half right now. I was like, dang.
Yeah. Well, sorry for my vulgarness, y'all. It's not normal, but this is just myself today.
That's called the circle of life.
I said balls. I didn't say anything bad, but I got to Sarah, no time.
Oh, see?
Hey, look, there's Sarah.
Bye.
Sarah's getting her hair done right now. She's not home yet, so I assume she's still there. Probably sitting on a chair, getting her hair done.
What's up, Sarah? You know how to sing
And
my
all
song.
the ladies in the hair salon are like, "This is what your husband does on Thursday."
I know. I'm sorry, Sarah. Tell the ladies.
She doesn't tell him.
Yeah, tell them.
I'm looking at the mother too, not that one with the same last name as me.
Yeah, let me get on.
Yeah,
let me get back
look at
on
this.
my.
So you have who's is look at Don Blake is like it
You
was
see?
Lil
You
Durk.
see him?
I told
You see him?
I told you.
Don,
Lil Durk said, "I'll pay half that salary, bro."
Hey, real quick. Don Blake is in the building. That's my son. He turned 15 today. Today's his birthday. Give him some love. He deserves it. Hey, he's been working hard.
Birthday.
Yeah, I got them all signed up in school. I got them all ready to go. We talked to the football coach. He's been on the field. He's already letting them know what time it is. So y'all should expect some good things from Don Ski Blake is going to be in the building in Texas doing it this year. BJ's going to be in Austin P. But y'all about to see what it is. These Blake boys. See that? Like I said, they used to swim in my balls. Now they're on the podcast with me. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, y'all.
That's funny. So,
it's the circle of life.
like I said earlier, today's it's a new beginning, right? You guys like Star Wars, new beginning. You know,
Yeah.
You know, the war's over, and now it's a new beginning. So we've gone through that first year. We've learned a lot. Now we're on to the second, and what better way to start it off than us get to talk to some people that we've had on here? You know, I would call them show favorites. Everybody was a favorite, but we have a couple people that, you know, everybody resonated with and they like to hear from and talk to. So, you know, it's cool. We get to bring a few guys on this week and next week and maybe even the week after. And so we can just celebrate what we've done for the past year and, you know, see what they're up to, catch up with them. But I just want to tell you guys, congratulations on being to episode 53, which is season 2, episode 1. So congrats, boys. Love you guys. I'm glad we're doing it and we're here.
Well, one of us is missing, man. So just so you guys know.
Oh, yeah.
Al is not going to make it to season 2. He decided that he was going to move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, he got drafted by like gender affirming clinics.
Yeah, just kidding, y'all. Just playing. Don't turn the podcast off. Al's not feeling well today. He's under the weather, so I think one of his kids had the flu or something like that. So he's not feeling well. So, you know, wish him well.
I mean, he is watching, and he did want Dusty Rudd to know that he has been known to spit on occasions. Just so you know.
Oh, he's a nasty boy.
Yeah. Oh no! Oh, too soon. Okay. All right.
Well, so here we are.
Well, I mean, without further ado, I would say now would be a good time to bring on one of our special guests we want to talk to today. And the only reason I say that is we are talking about Al. And if anybody remembers last week, what was the highlight of Al's podcast last week? Anybody remember?
The highlight?
He ate
a crayon.
Yeah, you don't remember that? There you go.
Oh, that's right.
He became a Marine.
That's normal. So I was used to that. I didn't. It didn't stand out to me.
It was the highlight of his podcast because he finally got to show people what his favorite flavor was. And speaking of which, I know another guy that we're going to talk to in a minute that his favorite flavor is also fruit punch.
Wow.
It is.
Yeah.
Fruit punch red?
Yeah, fruit punch red. He does great things. He's amazing in the community. He's local to us here. We had him on, I think, towards the beginning of what we do. So if you guys are cool with it, I think we should go ahead and introduce our good friend Kyle Shudik with the Project Zero. Bring him on, see what he's doing. You already had your crayon for dinner?
Yeah, I just finished it, just washing it down.
Oh, yeah, you're washing it down. All right. What's up, Kyle?
Man, just trying to make it through a day. I ended up, so you were talking about when you're coming on, like what people don't care about, but they do, cauliflower ear. It's the first person I don't say anything to because you know exactly what they can do. Like,
for sure.
So, but you can, but I kind of care when you get it. Man, that stuff hurts. Like it's heavy and you get conscious about it. I haven't had to drain mine out because I haven't got that way because I try to be really conscious about it. But I got a friend that's got like pillows for ears right now.
Really?
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're nasty, man.
See, that's what I was saying, Kyle. Like they were like, just let it go, get rid of the hair, it's all good. If people looked at me with my ear, they'd be like, oh yeah, we can mess with this dude. But you're right. You see some of the cauliflower ear, you're like,
Yeah.
Either he doesn't care about ass whoopings or he delivers a lot of them and just doesn't care. So I'm gonna ask him if he wants to hang out.
Bet.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him when he's gonna be on TV next.
I know you know something because I do too. But you definitely know it. Oh nice, man. I've been just trying to get trying to get through the summer because if you don't know this, my wife teaches, so she's home, the kids are home, everybody's here all the time, which is fun, but it's usually just me. So kind of working on some of those things and just really trying to chunk through the rest of this year. We've got some good stuff that's coming down the pipeline, and it's been a lot of. Like when you guys talked to us last year, it was the same time, right? Because we started.
It was around the same time last year we talked.
We did for growth for the organization. We did a record year. Like it was really good to see. This year we're kind of on pace to do the same. It's election year, so people are always kind of up in the air, and that's always. But we don't care. We keep doing what we're doing. We keep growing what we're growing. So we got a lot of stuff that's going on. I sent some stuff over to Ty too, so he could actually show it to people.
Nice.
Of where we're going and what we're doing. Did you throw another logo up there, buddy?
No, not at all.
It's been a lot of fun trying to get this thing off the ground. So if you haven't seen the episode before, when I was on, Project Zero looks to transform the well-being of veterans and first responders. And this is one of the signature programs that we wanted to bring out. And it was this is something we've been hauling butt towards. And it just takes a lot of effort. I don't think people understand when you're putting something new together. And something that means a lot. It comes with a lot of bumps and bruises on the road. We were like known as the Jeep adventure people, but this was always something that is a supportive element that we wanted to do. And we've been putting it together. We have independent counselors that are contracted with us. We did an MOU with a local agency, Alexander JFS, that helps us supplement some of the services that we have so we can provide cost-free and confidential counseling to people in Texas, but mainly we're focusing on the greater Houston area right now and the 13 surrounding counties around Harris County. And a lot of our clientele right now are actually first responders. And so what we're getting is people who come in and say, hey, I'm really looking for help with no shame, no stigma, no strings attached, no BS, as I like to say it, no EAP, no vouchers, no sliding scale. We don't care. You sign a form. You sign one more form. That's a request to move you over to one of our counselors, and then you get the help you need when you need it. And we're just trying to grow that this year. And I realize there's a lot of different care out there, but I've been through it too. So we just tried to create the thing that we'd have liked to seen. So we're not waiting either on, I'm not going to bash any system, but we're not waiting. You can literally, we just put a guy in the other day. You can sign up on a form, and within a week, you should at least have a scheduled session with a counselor. And that I think is amazing.
That's lightning fast compared to the beginning, brother.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's gonna that'll make or break whether somebody truly gets the help they need. That kind of speed to talk to somebody is critical, man. That's like a 911 call, responding in a timely manner, the difference between good and bad outcomes. So congrats on you guys for doing that, bro. That's amazing.
I appreciate it. And the big thing was to not take anything out of the person's pocket as far as like insurance and having to deal with just sticky things. And like I've had to pay $120 a session out of pocket before when I was between insurance. And of course, people say, well, you go to the VA and get for free. I've also been backlogged in that one. And it's a system. it could be good in other places, and it is, and it's just kind of where we're at. So we just wanted to get a place for, and we like to call it even intermediate care, because eventually, maybe once we're beyond saying, hey, I really need help, besides being really confidential to us, you're really clear about it. Like some of us in the community, right? Like I'm okay telling people when I'm not feeling good, but if you're not at that point yet, why don't we just take every burden and every barrier out of the way and just get you to see somebody? And that's what I think is really important. And that's what we've been trying to build. So the cost is not in their pocket. We worry about privately funding it. So we do that through grants and donations and those kind of things. And we work on ensuring that we have competent counselors too. So our clinical director who volunteers with us, make sure that we vet the people in the agencies that we are bringing into our circle. It used to be like 1 or 2. I think we had 3 actually. And then we went with, partnered with in another organization who doesn't want to do what we do. They don't want to advertise to vet. It's just more that they got to take on. They said, but we will work with your clients. We have people who are experienced working with your clients and can relate. And that was super important to us. And that's what we're growing.
So real quick though, I know that, it's been a great year, but you just talked about a lot of the stuff you guys do. You have, sponsors, corporate sponsors, people that help you, people that donate. But here's the thing for everybody that's watching right now. You guys also raise money on your own. And I know that we're coming up on a time where you guys do raise money. I'm not sure when you were going to get into that, but it'd be a good time to talk about that, because right now where you can get on the ground floor and really help make a difference for these guys and what they're trying to do. Before that though, Scott and Ty, and then I know that Al is looking on this too. You guys see that November 8th to 11th? I think we're all going to Palo Duro. I'm just letting you know, put it on your calendar. Other than that, like you guys are going to be have an event coming up soon. You guys are really heavy into planning it, and so now's the time to jump in there. So do you want to talk a little bit about what you guys got coming in September?
So the next slide I think I sent over is we have the third annual, right? So this is the golf scramble, the one that we do at Willow Fork on September 9th. So it's the golf scramble. It's either on, before, or somewhere around that. We've done that for 3 years now in the fall, and the registrations are all open. So we have team slots that are in there. We have $700 a team, $300 hole sponsors. We have our one event sponsor right now, which would be Houston Police Officers Union. I think we have a mutual friend over there. They supported us every year because we are actively pursuing helping law enforcement, first responders as well. And there's plenty of opportunity for people to come out and play and support, and everything that we make from that gets fed directly back in the mission of supporting veterans, first responders, the way that we do it well. So, I think we should put a QR code up on there. I'll send you the link. But if you're in the Houston area, or you're not, and you feel like driving in for the day, feel like calling in sick on a Monday, because who doesn't?
Yeah, they'll be all right, dude. It's for a good cause. But I would tell you this too, Kyle. Like, here's the thing for everybody that's watching right now. If you don't live in Texas, you don't have to drive in to be a part of this thing. You don't have to come in to be here in order to make a difference. Like if you have a business, you have a company, and you're passionate about veterans and helping them, there's nothing saying that you can't sponsor a hole from another place and be a part of what these guys are building. So don't think that just because you're not here, you can't make a difference. Reach out. Instagram, direct message the Triple Threat Vet Podcast, direct message Project Zero on Facebook. If you're out there and you want to get involved, like these are opportunities to get involved, to be able to put money where it's going to make a difference, right? The smaller local guys like Project Zero. I mean, I remember in the very beginning talking to you guys, it was sometimes three weeks plus before somebody could get in to get what they needed, because you were just trying to work with people that were volunteering for you. And to know that you're going from that to like within a week somebody's got an appointment and going to see them, that right there shows where people's money is making a huge difference. So I just encourage everybody that if you're out there, come out if you can, but if you can't, just like donate or sponsor a hole, sponsor a veteran team to come out and play in this thing, sponsor a first responder team, give some money so that these guys that get the help from the Project Zero can go out there and have a good time. I mean, this is the 3rd year we've done it. It's gotten better every year. And, I just want to make sure that people jump out there and, are a part of it if they can be,
Yeah, it's a tremendous opportunity, and I think Matt, you know, we were working on this together with the Got Your Six culture side, and it's we've watched it like year after year. Like last year, we had an amazing DJ on the first hole, and then we were aiming at somebody's head, Al's head, and we had awesome hole sponsors and people that were sitting out there. We had events, raffles, like it's just been, it was really good because the execution. It's not just the execution event as well too, because it's like the culture that our organization has created, right? People getting out, getting together, you know, talking, having a good time, and letting that be part of like who they are and what they do. And that's another thing that we really do when you go back to the adventure schedule. That's, you know, our social wellness. So it like kind of embodies everything, and it's a fun fundraiser to do. And you're right, support it from anywhere. We even have another sponsor level that's just at the $1,000 level where you don't have a team, but you're still really highlighted throughout the tournament and providing support to the things that we're doing. But yeah, I really thank you for saying that, because it is going towards something that we've really built, and you have seen it. I mean, you guys have been kind of alongside, you know, as we've grown over the past few years, and hearing it come from somebody else, it kind of, you know, I don't take enough time to sit there and be like, oh man, we're doing great. Like I'm always fretting for the next thing. So I really appreciate coming on here and actually hearing it, because I can take a breather and watch what we're doing, and really appreciate it. And I just don't do it enough. And yeah, that was really great to hear. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Was that a silent invite for me to come back to DJ?
Yeah. And I was a passive invite.
Okay.
Was,
you know, I was just checking.
You know,
I
you get your walk-up song on the hole. You can. Well, we might even have like a cheering section this year, so we can yell at you. We should have a hazing hole. That'd be great. Where
dude. I'm in. Put me on the hazing hole. I'm ready to go. Listen, I remember we did the hole where, you know, you had the DJ is on the first hole and he's going to play your walk-up music, and everybody get to pick their walk-up music and they get to go up there and do that. I can't tell you how many people I talked to that were like, that's the worst shot I've hit all day, but it's the best tee off I've ever had in golf. Because you got all these old dudes walking up to just a whole array of songs, right? Stop over there. The DJ's over there talking about now stepping up to the tee, the slammer, the hammer, Kyle. And he's like, I am the slammer. And then he hits it like not even past the worms. Then everybody's talking trash about him. You were right on the same hole. You're trying to hit Al Hero in the face. Like it was good, man. I'm telling you, this golf tournament is not like most corporate level golf tournaments that you go to. I mean, you're going to have an opportunity to bid on things that are sent in for silent auctions and stuff like that. But the one thing I'll tell you about this tournament that's built is the level of camaraderie and the level of just fun that you're going to have at this event truly shows you an inside look at what Project Zero builds when they're doing their adventure trips and they're going out and bringing veterans to different places. You see an inside look of that where everybody's just around having a good time and nobody is feeling like they have to do something. It's always like, do whatever you want. Like you're here to have a good time, be here to do that. So, you know, I've talked a lot about it, but I just know that it's a great cause. And, you know, I hope that everybody listening, get involved if you can, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that part. You just get a little bit, and it's really funny because we were talking about this. We actually had somebody out, and I won't mention by name, on one of the family fishing trip that we just did, who has a background in recreational therapy. So it really intrigued her to what we're doing, and had a husband that came out, and he's like, hey, we don't do any of this like, hey, now we're gonna sit down and go by the book deal. I was like, no, this is authentic, 100% connection to other people who are experiencing what you're experiencing. Well, it just so happened another veteran that was from a whole other part of the state had come in, or I say veteran, it's active duty right now, but working through his process of getting out. And they were just very like adjacent to experience. And that we gave them the opportunity to just meet each other and to talk, and then to talk to some of us who've been out for, you know, a decade now, and where we're going and what they're going, and just watching without being told where you're going or what to do, but who we know who can help, and kind of bringing people back together naturally, which is something I've championed for a long time, since getting out of the military, and since going through what I went through again, we built the thing that we could have used, and everybody who's involved with us is there for the same reason, and it's fun to watch, and it's fun to see that happen at the golf tournament. It's like we have such a good time. Like I've been to several of those, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I'll bid on some stuff, and I'll go home. And this one, everybody's just like trash talking. You got the VFW team, and then you got my buddies at Wise Capital, the finance guys. Like, he's like, I'm gonna catch them one day. He's like, I swear they're cheating. We're not cheating. It's just great, and like nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like they're having a good time.
Nobody cares, bro. That's the best part, man.
You win, you get a plaque. So what? This bragging rights is whatever.
You get a dope ass slate plaque too. You ain't getting no bitch plaque at this tournament.
That is
true.
true.
Kyle, I tell you, man, thank you for coming on. I really want to make sure that everybody knows. Go to Project Zero's website, right? projectzero.org. Go on that. Take a look at it. Their event page is on there. Say a new one if you need to.
Yeah, we got. I'll send it over.
You can put it in the chat if you want, Kyle, like the website to go to, or if you have like a link to go look at that tournament. But go check it out. Support them. Help them where you can. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being a part of our journey.
Congrats on doing this for like a year. That's a hard thing to do, man.
Look, man, we're committed now, bro. Like we have to be here. We're committed. Like
you made it that far. You got a lot. You got like you beat out a ton of people who started something and then finished something, and then you get to like the 5-year mark, and you're pretty much set. Like that's kind of actually where we're at. We're coming up on 5 years next year. I think the COVID years were a little janky. I don't know if they count as halves.
Bro, you made it through those years. That means that you guys are here to stay. Like for real. Yeah. Like if you can make it through that and be where you're at now, that means that you've arrived, man. You guys have gone through the gauntlet, dude, and you're there. But
man, I'll tell you,
again, thank you so much for coming on. We love you guys. We can't wait to see you again. And do you have anybody you want to shout out before you jump out of here, brother?
Oh yeah. So I'll tell you this. So if you don't know, Tunnels to Towers Foundation built their first Veterans Village like right down the street from from Ty. You should know, right off of 249 over by Prestonwood Forest. We did an event with them. They have veterans that are in their GPD program, so at risk or going through mental health. And on that particular program, there was a reward they were looking for them to do and to get them introduced to other things in the community. So we actually took them out jeeping. Like we went out to Hidden Falls. Unfortunately, I missed that one, but a couple of my volunteers went out. Same with West Houston Jeepers. Some guys from West Houston Jeepers and Elevation Jeeps. Took those guys out for a weekend. And they just had a ball, and we're actually going to start setting up some stuff with them again in the fall, maybe get them involved in a fishing trip. So as these guys are working, they're going through their go-through and working their program, just combining what we can do to offer the services that we have as their problem, and hopefully find another way once they're out of there back in the community. And they're doing a lot of really good things. And the fact that they're right in my backyard is really awesome. And, they're like one of the OGs of like the post 9/11 kind of veteran first responder organizations. I mean, they were founded Tunnels to Towers. Like if you read the story. So it's great that we can combine what we do with what they're doing, and help those guys up. That was really great to see. So I'll give them that one. I probably have another one, but yeah, that was the most recent. So
for sure, brother. Well, thank you. We love you, man. We will see you soon, and
appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, dude.
Yeah, man.
I'll catch you later, Kyle.
I gotta eat a crayon too, Scott. Yeah, who's next?
Well, I'll let you later, brother.
All right, man.
All right.
So, I mean, off of that, what do we want to do? Want to take a break real quick?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I didn't get some popcorn, man. I didn't get my popcorn in time. So, what's up, y'all? It's time to do that. Shout out to my man Kyle. Project Zero's in the house. You're in the house. My man TY's in the house. Matt J's in the house. But most of all, you're in the house. We're going to take a quick break. Go ahead and get you something to drink. Matter of fact, while we're on break, why don't you call somebody and tell them they need to log in and get on this Triple Threat Bet podcast show with us. Get live. This is your time to do it right now. Go on your phone, tap somebody and say, hey, I don't see you on. Get on right now. I'm going to give you time to do that, and we'll be right back after these few messages. Peace.
Gear up in style wearing Got Your Six apparel. Every purchase makes a difference. It's more than just clothing, it's a statement of gratitude. Upgrade without breaking the bank. Discover cost-effective, high-quality clothing made in the USA. Each shirt is handcrafted by our team in the great state of Texas and shipped for free to your front door. Got Your Six is where quality meets purpose. We're a small veteran-owned business that takes pride in the mission and the value of our products. Join us in growing a community, supporting our heroes, veterans, and first responders by wearing a custom design.
I thought you'd never ask.
Visit sameflagsameoath.com and use the code TRIPLETHREAT for 10% off. Follow us on all social media platforms for any upcoming releases or events, and you can reach out to us with questions anytime. We are here to support our brothers and sisters.
Well, that's absolutely the wrong video. My bad. Played the wrong video.
You know, I mean, it happens. It's okay. That video was cool, though. You should have let it kept going. You know.
Oh, there's nothing else to it. That's all there is.
There you go. I mean, the guy in the middle makes the entire video. So you could have played that whole song, and that dude in the middle, Will, that's the guy right there.
Yeah, that's
anybody about a party house, lake house, summer vacation home. I'm talking to Will, dude.
Yeah, Will's out in Washington State. He's one of the newer guys on the team. Will Smith. He's a bit of a character if you can't tell. But yeah, we got Chris Fuller out in California. Byron goes back and forth between Texas and California. Nathan Osborne is in Arizona. Will Smith, as I said, is in Washington State. Mac is over in Florida. Freddie's in Florida. Scott's in Tyler, Texas. And I'm right here in Houston. So, yeah, absolutely. But I played the wrong video. It's supposed to be the whole team doing their intros, but I uploaded the wrong one. So, my bad.
That's okay. You know, in the military, they say shit happens, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
It's all good. It's all good.
So, I know that, where is that video? I guess I don't have it. Anyway, I wanted to bring Dusty Rudd back on. He's an Army veteran. We deployed together way back in 2007 to 09, and if you remember, he came on and shared his story of healing from a lot of different things. So we're going to bring him up with an update and let him wax poetic a little bit. Dusty Rudd,
my man,
there he is. You got
what's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Turn your phone sideways.
Turn it sideways.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah. We're doing that. How's that?
There you go.
Is that better?
Party.
Hey, so real quick though,
Oh.
I'm
Perfect.
pretty happy to know that you and Ty are really good friends, because we would have never had the coolest ass photo ever to put in the intro of like what America looks like on 4th of July, bro. Like 100%. Like you're America on 4th. You know what picture I'm talking about. You are America on 4th of July, dude. That is a legit picture.
That was during COVID. That was actually me sitting on my back porch waiting on people to steal my toilet paper. That was kind of what was going on. I was
Nice.
primed and ready. So that was I was strapped and capped, you know.
Yeah,
ready
you
to go.
were USA'd out, bro. Koozie, undergarments. You had the cowboy hat on. You were like, "Come get this paper." You ready? Come get it.
Flask. I was down to the flask. I had the Chuck Taylors on. What's funny was my mother-in-law was actually in the living room. Had no idea I even did it.
I remember you doing all those videos and all that cool stuff with your wife over from 2017 on through COVID.
Yeah.
So you've changed.
Yeah, I have changed. I don't have social media. I'm doing this on YouTube, so I'm trying to do everything I can while in the best way possible. I'm kind of out of the loop nowadays, but do what I can when I can.
Okay.
So what's new with you, man? As far as the therapy and everything, what's going on with your journey, brother?
As of right now, I'm just kind of in the maintenance period, kind of sustaining where I'm at. I actually I was meaning to throw in a thing of ketamine while I was actually on the podcast. I got kind of sidetracked and didn't do it. It's going great. I'm doing good. I'm just comfortable and everything, and it's just present, enjoying life. I mean, it's just like it's so easy to have a conversation about it because it's not something that's just weighing down on me and having all these exterior thought processes and being what's the word, twitchy, I guess. I don't have that anymore. I'm just kind of here and just kind of living.
Are you still working with the one place you were working at where you were I think helping other people in their therapy, right?
So I was at the vet center. That was I did that up until I finished my degree and my time frame with the voc rehab. And once I did that, I left and actually started working. And I worked for a contract company that's contracts with the government, and we sell heavy equipment, and we're getting ready to start selling some defense contracting stuff to them as well. So I'm the only veteran on the team. We just had a retiree, a Vietnam veteran just retire who owned the company, who just sold it. And he actually sold it to a company called Supply Corps, who does a lot of stuff with special ops units, fire department, things like that. So I'm doing that now. I'm still kind of reaching out, trying to help where I can. I would love to actually see what we could kind of do in Florida, like what Kyle's doing, and see if we could possibly bring that in, because that was kind of in the scope I've been thinking about doing things. But just trying to kind of bring that thought process into here.
It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you, Dustin. I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's good to see you, man.
It's always good to see you, DJ.
It's just.
I'm a peekabooer, like you said last week. I do what I can. I pop in when I can. It's most of the times I'm knocked out by now because I'm up at 3:30 every morning. So most days I am out cold by now.
Well, it means a lot to us to know that you peekaboo and you even pop in and check in on us, man. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take peekaboo all day long, man.
I admit it.
It just does me good to know that you're doing good, bro. Like I tell you, when we talk about it, when we talk, sometimes we talk individually about, what we're doing on the podcast and people that we've came across and stuff like that. But you've always been one that I just remember when you were telling your story, I was just like looking into the camera like, whoa, my gosh. Like, this is crazy. Like, I was feeling everything that you said. And I was like, damn, it's crazy to know that you've done so much, went through so much, and then you go from high to low, and now you're back up high and smiling again and just being yourself. That's great. I love a good comeback story, man. Kick-ass story. You're that. So I love that, man.
For sure.
I appreciate it. I look at it's being able to see external and see what's going on with your life and understand that you now have the ability to fix the things that you couldn't do before, whether it be within your mental state or just in your day-to-day life, as far as taking care of things that your brain just wouldn't let you do because you were so overwhelmed with fear and anxiety that you didn't even do the medial tasks, like, brush your teeth some days, or freaking, just keeping yourself up. You weren't able to do that because you were so focused on other things, and it just threw you off. And just having that ability now to do that, and it's great. It's wonderful. Like at work, now that I'm actually back with people and interacting with people, they're having to tell me to shut up because all I do is just sit there and talk to everybody all day. Like all I do is I don't get like
I can relate.
I'm the coffee guy from freaking SNL, Rob Schneider. My desk is right next to the bathroom and the coffee machine. So every time somebody comes by, I can't help but say something to somebody.
The Ruddinator, the Rudderino, the Rudmeister.
I put that picture up next to the coffee machine, and I was like, making coffee. And the owner came by. I was like, bro, you got to take that down. Like, you can't. I'm like, but I do want to say, I kind of want, I'm always on here talking about how to help yourself and fix things. I do want to tell a story, and I told Ty about this. I got to tell a story.
All right.
And if Ty will let me tell the story.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. So recently, I wish Al was on for this one. This has Al written all over it. I had to go get a vasectomy. So, and I had it done through the VA of all places. Never had any surgery done in my entire life. Never had anything done. Never went under the knife for anything. And I get the bright idea that I'm gonna let the VA do it. And not only am I gonna let the VA do it, I'm gonna let them do that of all things.
Right.
It took me an hour to find parking at the VA. I was late for my appointment. I showed up. Nerves were shot. I mean, absolutely done. I was gone. Couldn't do it. Doctor comes in. This dude's wearing like some designer loafers with his scrubs. I'm like, what is going on here? Like this guy, I'm like, is this like legit? Are we doing this? They bring me back and I'm having a full-on panic attack. I'm freaking out. And they tell you to sit down and pull down your pants. I'm like, wait, what do you mean pull down my pants? They're like, no, you pull them down your ankles. I'm like, is this so I can't run away? Like, is this like, it's like, like, I'm like, what are we doing here? They're like, okay, lay on the table. They're like, are you okay? And I start having a panic attack. They had one person fanning me. They had two people holding cloths on my head. They had one person holding a YouTube video, playing it with like some kind of like meditation somber music. They had two people doing the operation, and I'm freaking out. And they're like, if you feel any pain, let us know. I was like at a blackjack tournament. I was like, hit me, hit me, hit me. Every 5. I was like, yeah, I feel it. No. They were like, sir, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm feeling no, we got it. And I stood up and they were like, can you leave? I was like, I don't know. Where am I? Can I walk? I walked out of there and I had to go downstairs and get some paperwork. And I'm walking around like I just got kicked in the junk by a freaking horse, holding an ice pack, walking through the VA hospital, straddling this ice pack, just holding it on my freaking junk. Just waiting for somebody to ask me a question, what happened? No. And I got to a time that I'm like, all I can think about is something. This is Al. Something Al will do.
Yeah, well,
I think I would be the same way.
Yeah, I tell you what though. Let me tell you something. I had that done while I was in. Okay.
Mm-mm.
At least you had like a fan, and you had YouTube videos. Me, they were like, "Hello, this is our new intern. She's here to watch to learn how to do this." And Becky's in the room, right? So tell me this: how many times did you feel the pull chain in your neck? I was like, what is that? They're like, oh, they're just fixing it up. And you know, I'm sitting in there, right? You're sitting there. You got the interns like looking like, is that how you do that? You hear like you see smoke coming up. You're like, what's going on?
You smell it?
I look at Becky and you see, and she's like, oh, they did it. It's done. I was like, what? And then I'm like in the room, like, I'm so glad that you all got to enjoy the show. Appreciate it. You know what I mean? It was like, here's our intern. I was like, oh my gosh. So at least they had people fanning you. You had a whole crew, dude. I
did. I had like, and there's I don't know how in depth because you know I've been very somber in the past year or so. I've kept myself, you know, vulgarity and everything like that down. But you know, after the fact, you got to track things.
Yeah.
Well, we have a calendar, and my wife's trying to track when my infant's doing things like she rolled over today or something like this. I'm in there doing tally marks. I'm like, today 3 times.
Yeah, bro. And then it's like, after a while, we'll get you to come back in and we'll test it to make sure it worked. And you're like, wait, what a minute? Like, I saw all this smoke. What do you mean it might not work? Like, you detached everything.
I will burn that place to the ground.
See, look,
I swear to God.
Problem is with that, because I had that done as well. But the problem is the reason they do that is because people go back to doing what they were doing before they got time to figure out if all the swimmers weren't swimming.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make sure all the swimmers are gone, because it's just because they clipped it off doesn't mean that there wasn't any swimmers in the.
You're still loading the chamber.
Right,
you still got a chamber going.
Yeah. So see what you guys got lucky enough to be awake when all that stuff happened. Mine was major surgery, bro. They were dealing with major weight.
Of course it was.
They had to put me to sleep.
Of course it was.
They put me to sleep. They put me to sleep, and when I woke up, everything was done. But I was like, "Yo." So
is that what it is? Like if you got a package and they put you to sleep? Okay, that's why Folk put me to sleep. Then I was wondering.
Doctor.
Look at that.
I was wondering.
A horse stable and an equestrian doctor is probably what it was.
Yeah, I don't think I could have dealt with what you're talking about being awake.
It wasn't the Veterans Association. It was just a vet.
Right.
Yeah. It was a vet, and mine was at a regular. I went to a regular clinic, and when I was in, like, I got to go. I didn't have to go to the VA, but it was just crazy, like being awake and doing it. Because like when you're awake, I'm telling you guys, like you feel like that tug, and you're like, but you're down there, but you're pulling something out of my dude. It was so weird.
That's why I was like,
All the time.
that's why I kept slapping. I was like, they're like, you need some more meth. I'm like, hit me.
Yeah,
Like, do it again.
like, I don't know what's going on, dude, bro.
I just kept. I swear to God, I would have busted all. I mean, no pun intended. If I was playing blackjack, I would have busted a long time ago.
Yeah,
I just kept. I was like, just go again.
Oh man, yeah.
But, yeah, I know. I come in normally talking about how to help yourself, but it's.
Bro, you did help yourself. To be honest, you probably can't
I
afford
did.
more kids. You've seen the rate of inflation right now.
No, not with my daughter. She's got too many health problems. I can't go in. We gotta get you. Like, I know what it's going to cost for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Plus, I got a kid going to college next year. I ain't playing that game.
Word, man. Yeah. So you did help yourself, Dusty. You did help yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's so funny. Dude. Did you have to sign all the forms too, where you go through like the whole consultation, and then they're like, "Are you sure?" You're like, "Yes, I'm sure." They're
my consultation was in the front room 5 minutes prior. There was no
That's not mine.
like
bro.
they.
well, at the time, I just had son and daughter, right?
Right.
And so when we went through, I was like, I mean, I was young when I did it. Like once Cole's born, we're done, right? We're just done. We know it.
Yeah.
They're all like, "Are you sure?" And it's crazy because you're in the clinic and talking to them, and they're like, what if like you get married to somebody else? I'm like, what are you asking me right now, dude? Like, I don't know. You think we're gonna work out? Should I like say I'm no, like keep it? And it's like, yeah, I'm sure. They're like, you got to sign right here. And I was like, damn.
Should I have my lawyer present? Like, is this
Like
mediation? What's going
like, what
on
are
right
we
now?
doing? Yeah. It was weird, dude. They make you go through all that stuff, but
Yeah.
like after it's done, man. Yeah, it was crazy though. Like I still like walk into the room, in walks two people, and I'm like, two people. Like,
Come
this
on,
is
man. Your last name is Johnson, bro. What you think?
I didn't get put to sleep though, so that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Well, hey, buddy, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sharing your story, and thanks for supporting this whole year. I'm sure we're going to be contacting you more just to come on every now and then because you're definitely one of the show favorites. People talk about your clips all the time. Al's always talking about you, and I really enjoy how my friend from so many years ago has now become friends with my group of friends now, and that kind of speaks to what veteran relationships and that bond is. We forged some pretty crazy shit together there, Rudd. So I appreciate you. I love you, buddy, and we'll catch you soon.
Hey, Dust, before you go, bro, I just need to know. Well, now we've completed a whole year of this podcast. How is that? How has our podcast helped you, or has it done anything for you, or what is your overall thing of us doing this for a year?
It's got the community. It's got the veteran community. Something that especially when you move away from that kind of environment, you don't get to see it as much. And then you see individuals like yourself, all four of you or three of you, or you bring one person on, it's two of you with that person. When you see that community and another veteran come into that community that maybe y'all never have a contact with, or like myself, it's only no Ty, and seeing everybody be able to have a conversation like you've known each other for 20 years, it's very wholesome to me. You don't ever see that where I'm at. It's very rare. And when you're able to have those conversations, unfortunately, you're only limited to the little bit you can do in this with those people, but it's great to see, and it brings me back, and it reminds me of the good times that I used to have in the military, and I really appreciate that, especially, and then also y'all pushing out all this information for veterans that don't know about things and have avenues to help themselves, or just avenues to just interact with other people.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about, homie. That's the mission statement right there.
Yes,
all right, we'll holler at you later, Rudd.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Dusty Rudd, ladies and gentlemen.
Rudd, my
That guy's
brother.
cool as shit, man.
Yeah, he is.
He's I know we ranked guests before, you know what I mean? And I would tell you that when you rank guests on our podcast for last year, let's be honest, 100%, Dusty Rudd would be a very easy one to be like hands down my favorite. So easy to say he's the favorite, which is why I didn't say that. But when he comes on and he's so willing to he's like us 100%. And I think that's what helps us is a lot of the people we talk to they're just like us. He's okay with coming in and telling that story, dude. That's amazing. I love it.
We family. But you know what? Just like you said that about Dusty, what about Uncle Berto? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Uncle Berto, man. You know,
he's like our dad, though. Let's be honest, right? He's part of the family, but he's the guy that goes, all right, guys, now listen, the red and the blue pill, right? Like, depending on which one you take, we're about to go down this pathway. And he keeps us in check, man. Berto is the guy. He truly is the guy that offers us the resources to keep going every week. You know, like, I like getting the texts from him. I see him all the time. I know I don't respond every time, but I read the cards, and you know, I'm appreciative of that, because it helps you see things in a different perspective, for sure.
Yeah. So y'all talk about people, like when you say who I'm going to combat with, he's him, and you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I'm going, Berto. I'm calling him up. Hey, Bert. Hey, got some shit going down.
Yeah, we need someone to be
too much time to talk about it, but I just need you to show up.
Yeah,
with me in the building. Probably by the time that we show up and get up in there, it's probably not going to be what it could be. They see what we're bringing. They probably second think that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Go in there with him and Rocco Vargas and stop shit. It's going down. You know what I mean? I got my boys
with Berto in the background going, okay, guys, you don't understand. This is what we're trying to accomplish today. If you guys would just hold on real tight, we can do this without a lot of effort. Or
bring my
guys are gonna go batshit crazy. I'm just telling. I'm here to help you. Like, he's that. Like, he's the negotiator, right? He's talking to people off the ledge and going, I don't know if you really want to do that. It's not a good idea.
Picture this scene. I'm gonna give you a real quick scene, but bring him in. I walk. I'm on my motorcycle, pull into this, bro. Dust is flying. You know, the little song comes, and I walk into the bar, open up the little flappers. I'm like, hey, where can I get a cold brew? Somebody says, well, we don't serve your kind around here, buddy. You're gonna have to find yourselves somewhere else to have a beer. And I say, really now? Well, I'm pretty thirsty. Matter of fact, a couple of my boys are thirsty too, and we're going to have a beer today. They say, well, now, I'm sorry, buddy. You're going to have to find you another place to have a beer. I say, okay, you sure that's your final answer? All right, hey, Berto, Rocco, they said we can't have any beer here. Then you hear the motorcycle stop. And into the door, Rocco with his vest on, you know what I'm saying? His Mayans MC vest on with no tank top on underneath the muscles and tattoos out. And he pops in on my right side. Berto comes in with his beard. And you know what I'm saying? He's got his everything out, and he pops in on the other side. Say, wow, I'm sure I'm thirsty. Yeah, I think we're going to have a beer today. You know what I mean? And that's it. That's going to be that. That's my thing. We're going to work that out. I'm going to put it in production. I just need to check with my man Berto, check with my man Rocco Vargas, and we're going to have that beer. So without further ado, I want to bring my man in the building because he's in here. Ladies and gentlemen, our friend, our uncle, big dog himself, Mr. Berto Fight.
Hey, guys.
What's up, bro?
What's up? That was a hell of an intro, man. I thought you were about to start quoting Paul Revere from Beastie Boys, bro.
Let's go. Let me tell you.
Let me clear my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so real quick, I just want y'all to know that Berto does not charge his phone every night when he goes to sleep. I just want everyone to know that. If you need to talk to Berto, it's going to be between the hours of like 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. because he don't charge no cell phone. Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
He hung up on me today because his phone died.
Oh, terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, well, you know, it is what it is.
It was interesting though. Berto sends me a text this morning. The only thing it says is, "How's the claim going?" I didn't text Berto back. I called. I was like,
text too.
Yeah, but I was like, "How did you know that I'm going to this thing today for that reason?" He goes, "I didn't." I'm like, "Yeah, you do. Do you have like cameras or microphones? And how do you know what I'm doing? You know?"
I tapped into your Alexa, man. That's how.
Hey, I don't have that.
That's what you think.
Not you.
That's what you think.
I do.
Yeah.
Look underneath your microphone. Look on the bottom of it right there.
Yeah, like.
Why do you think we've been working on your shit for the last couple weeks?
Yeah. Oh, show. Exactly. So you can spot what the
Yeah.
Don't listen to anything I said in here when you guys haven't been around though. All that shit is not true. It's made for TV. I didn't mean none of it.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Yeah, so let me congratulate you guys on your 1 year, man. That's a huge accomplishment, man.
Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you guys
it.
and you guys have grown so much. Your interviews are much better than the very beginning, where nobody's talking over each other as much, and we're actually doing some active listening and some reflections. Awesome job, man. You guys have definitely stepped up your game.
Well, I'm pretty competitive and I don't like being second best. So when somebody like, I don't know, Berto Fight tells me that I need to fix something, then that we started taking it quite seriously. And you've been a big part of that too. And I've told this story. I don't know if I've told it on air, but I'll say it real quick. I remember our talks back in Afghanistan, and you were a tremendous listener when we worked together back in 2005 or 2004 or whenever it was we had talks. You've talked to people and been able to help people, sort out themselves for a long, long time. And that's what's so endearing to you. So you've been a part of the maturation process, I guess, of the podcast as much as we have. I learned it from Berto.
SAT words, man.
I learned it from you.
That's an SAT word right there, man.
What does that mean?
Process?
What does that mean?
Damn, bro.
With the SAT word or the maturation?
Maturation. I need to know that.
I thought maturation and the SAT were both from the. I don't know. Anyway,
if I walked into the room and said, "Boy, what the hell you doing?
Good, y'all.
Look like you're doing some maturation."
No, you're missing an S on that.
Like lotion belongs on the top of it. We say stuff wrong all the time. You didn't stop all that maturation.
That's why you got clipped, right?
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Maturation away, Right.
All right, so I need some clarity. Do you really need me to answer what those two things mean?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm just making sure.
We're good.
I'll look it up later.
Well, no, so that's actually one of the things.
I just want to show you it's a word.
I know what it means.
Oh, okay.
I honestly know what it means.
Okay, my bad. I thought y'all thought I made up some shit.
I was mature in it, so I'm sure maturation would mean that we're getting better and we're growing up in front of everybody's eyes. There's a maturation process.
That's exactly what it is.
The warriors instead of the hunter-gatherers. Yeah?
Yeah, something like that.
I told you I'm smart as fuck, dude. I did some shit one time.
My boy's wicked smart, yo.
Wicked smart.
So it's been a little bit over the 30 days that that since I last been on. How's the meditation practice going for you guys?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Sure.
So okay, my what I found is I actually have a meditation board right here, and if I don't meditate, if I don't listen to some yoga nidra, then I'm not going to have a very productive day. I have to. It's to a point now to where it's become a part of my everyday process where I have rituals and I'm kind of ritualistic in everything I do, OCD, I guess, but it has become such a part of my healing that if I don't do it on Saturday and Sunday, I have a kind of a lazy ass day, but Monday through Friday when I do it, my productivity's gotten better. My mood's gotten better. I'm actually moving around. So, I feel better. Even though it's helped in every aspect for me.
Nice. So you're doing it daily, and how many times a day are you doing it?
Well, I usually meditate and sit here and do a body scan when I come into work. So that's about 7:45, 8. But I listen to Yoga Nidra or the Buddhist I forget what it's called, but the thing where I listen to that every night and I visualize what's hurting, and I, lay on ice, get on my body flat. And I'm telling you, it's a whole process. And that right there, since I said I was going to lose all the weight, I've not lost the weight yet. I've lost about 20 pounds, but the range of motion, the ease of which, I can move around. I actually had a VA appointment yesterday. And let me, a side note here. My VA appointment yesterday at the Houston VA was so amazing. I went in, had good parking, went straight to the lobby, got called, went back, had people wearing really cool shoes talk to me and tell me all about myself and basically tell me yesterday, and I've not told you all this yet, I don't need another surgery. I don't have to get the sacroiliac joint fusion, and I went again. I didn't elect to get the elective surgery they were telling me I could get for the right side. So I don't need any surgeries. They're just going to do shots now. So everything's working pretty good.
Congratulations, brother.
Nice. So let me backtrack a little bit with you, Ty. So what's getting in the way? You said you dropped about 20 pounds and then you kind of are wavering. What's getting in the way?
I didn't mean to use the word wavering. Nothing's getting in the way. Everything's good. I think, well, if I would be just completely honest, what's getting in the way is my diet, my ability, my discipline to adhere to the E2M diet that I was on, because sometimes I eat fast food. Sometimes I'm an emotional eater. So sometimes I eat when I'm angry or happy, so that's what's getting in the way. But as far as everything else other than the diet, nothing's getting in the way as far as like in my brain.
Okay. Well, I would argue that point. Something is getting in the way in your brain because you're not doing the things that you need to be doing in order to maintain that diet plan, or I don't like calling them diets. I like calling them meal plans. So what is in your control when you're like out on the road or you're at work? What is in your control to maintain that meal plan that you want?
Listening to my wife and actually doing the meal planning and having the stuff and taking it with me instead of just settling on stopping at a fast food.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So when I was 290 at one point, I'm 225 right now. And what I had to do was exactly that. I had to meal plan. I had to bring a cooler, like a little lunch bag cooler, even when I went to parties, because I knew there was going to be pizza there. And guess what? I'd break out my little bowl, I'd pour my salad dressing on my salad, and I would have my salad. Right? No shame. And if they judge you, then that's their problem. That's not your problem.
You've never had a problem with people doing that, though. I remember you doing, very eclectic stuff when you were in the Army as an E4, and you didn't listen to when anyone said anything to you. So you've always been very resilient in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's actually what we're going to talk about towards the end. So how about you, Matt or Scott? How are you guys doing with your meditation?
Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I'm going to tell you, it's like hit or miss, dude. Do I do it? Not all the time. Have I tried to do it? I have.
Okay.
I don't know, but I have done things since then that have gotten me into it. So I started running, so that's been good.
Mm-hmm.
Playing softball now, that's also good. And then just trying to be more, organized and take some more time away from always working. So that's what I do. But the meditation part, I'm not doing very good in that arena, to be honest. That's just me.
Okay. So you found some things that kind of replicate the effects of meditation, right? Like, so running, you have to be focused. You have to focus on your breathing. You have to focus on your form. You have to focus on any obstacles that might be on the course that you're doing. So that's also a form of mindfulness, right? And that's ultimately what we're trying to be more mindful and more present.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's working for you. And, I got a little hint that you might want to incorporate a little bit more meditation.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I need to learn how to do that. My thing is just doing it, right? You got to do it a couple times and get consistent with it. That's the key for me. The key for me is I have to actually do it, and even if it doesn't yield the result, you need to keep doing it, because anything that you do, you're not going to know after a month if it's going to work. Like, sometimes you got to do it longer. So part of me on my mindfulness that's like messing me up, then I have that journey on. So started running, haven't ran in about a week because I did, walk outside and cut a foot, so I couldn't run. But when I was I went running every day, I started at a certain time, and in like a week, I dropped that by 2.5 minutes on a per mile pace, right? So running's always been my thing, but my problem is you're not that guy that could run 8, 9, 10-minute miles anymore, right? You gotta ease into that. You can do it again. I can do it again, but not right now. The problem is I want to do that right now. And so the hard part, the mind game there is to understand you got to take baby steps to get to the ultimate goal. And it's going to take time. All this time I've taken off to not do that stuff has definitely hurt you to get back to where you're at, right? So when you stop, it's literally stopped. You really have to start over. I think that's the hardest part now, is getting through that barrier, right? Starting over and getting up, avoiding the fact that now that you're running, you're hurting, and all those different things.
Yeah, as we get older, right, it's going to take longer to recover. Let me ask you this though. You said that finding the time is where you struggle. So if you think about your day from the moment you get up to the moment you get home and are ready for bed, can you find anywhere in there 5-10 minutes that you can lay down or sit in a room and just listen to a guided meditation for, I don't know, 3 to 7 minutes?
So the short answer is yes. I also should find more time to go walk the dogs and do all these things. My biggest problem lately is just my lack to not want to do that stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm doing all these things, but then I'm not doing other stuff it's easy, right? It's walk around the block, it's not a big deal, but then I'm like a dick about it. I need to stop doing that. But yes, the easy answer is I can find the time to do it. I have plenty of time to do it. There's plenty of time to do everything. You just have to make it a priority. So that's part of what I need to do is like prioritize that part to figure it out. So, you know, my biggest thing always has been, I know what I need to do. I'm just in a point post-military right now where I'm lazy, dude. Like, I just don't want to do it. Like, I'm like, whatever, man. Nobody's making me do anything. And then there's times where you get in your head and you're like, well, maybe that's the problem. Nobody's telling me what I have to do. So that's why I'm not doing this stuff no more. And maybe I'm only built to do what somebody tells me to do. And then you figure out, no, I'm built to do what I need to do. I just need to get more purposeful to things that are important, you know?
Yeah. Right. Pickleball. That's a good one. Yeah. So like, these are the things that you want to be thinking about, right? Like if you want to do that, you know, carve out the time, you got to carve out the time and you got to figure out what time management skill, right, or tool will work for you, right? Because I don't know what your day looks like, but I will tell you that I have my own office. And so I meditate twice a day. I meditate right before I eat. I close my door, I shut off my lights, I listen to a guided meditation, get centered again, and then I go get my lunch. Boom, I eat. Then the next time I meditate is the moment I get home. I still maintain the habit of I get home and I change out of my work clothes immediately. And so my wife knows to leave me alone. I shut the bedroom door. I meditate for 5 to 10 minutes on the ground in my bedroom. And then I come out and now I can, you know, deal with my wife's work stress or, you know, the dogs are having issues. You know, I got 2 geriatric dogs. One's got dementia. One recently tore an ACL. So we're constantly, you know, talking about the dogs and planning stuff and trying to figure out stuff. And I need that time to like really settle down so that I can be present to meet what the needs that my wife is expecting to be met.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this question real quick. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this question. What is your advice for people that work at home and don't get the opportunity to leave and go somewhere else and then come back from there? Because, you know, for me, I guess you would say meditation in the military was the drive home. I had to drive. I had to get home. I got to be able to drive back to the house and get rid of all that bullshit you went through for the day, listen to a podcast, listen to music, curse at other drivers because it makes you feel better. And then when you get home, you're like, okay, I'm ready to go inside now. So if you work at home every day and you're in that place every day and you go from this work, I don't even want to talk to you about my day, Berto. It's crazy. But you go from one to another, to another, to another, to another, because it all needs to be done. Like what would be your advice for that? Like, how would you go through that if you don't go from one place to another to go to work?
Yeah. Create your own commute. So whatever, you know, say you start at 8, at 7:30, go take a walk around the block. That's your commute, right? Or, you know, how much ever time you need. And then when it's time to get off, right, like you're done for the day, say 4:30, 5 o'clock, then you leave the house and you go for another walk. That's your commute. That's your decompression time.
And do that by yourself.
Yeah. You and the dog.
So back me up on this, Berto. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the drive home is never a good transition because if anything, that's going to exacerbate every bad thing that probably went on at work. And then you're going to transition straight into your house and take that home. So the drive home, there has to be a buffer between the drive home for sure, especially, you know, where Berto's at. You know, if you're driving down I-45 here in Houston, that drive home can never be your meditation because you're thinking of too many things, hopefully, you know, which turn to make, what you listen to on the radio, you know, you are, you know, you need some quiet time. Like, I'll show you, like, right there's my thing, and my little doggy sits right next to me. So the closing the closing, you saw it today. The closing of the blinds. I got dark curtains here. Come in here and it's pretty dark. Just play some, some ambient white noise or green noise, and just have a buffer of 5 minutes. That way, I don't take shit out on Sarah, who, we both work from home for the last 5 years. So being in close proximity all the time, I can get pretty fucking annoying to people because I have all kinds of little tics and things that I do. So having that buffer, it has helped us. We've had to talk about that. And a lot of it comes from things Berto does. So, sorry, Berto, go ahead.
No. What you guys are talking about are a little bit two different things. What Matt's talking about is decompression, right? Which is kind of blowing off steam, kind of just processing what happened throughout the day, kind of maybe even planning what you're going to do the next day or the next work day. And what you're talking about is more meditation, more mindfulness, right? So there are two different things. I'll share with you guys what I do. So my commute on the way home is typically about an hour and a half. It's 30 miles, but it's California, right? I'm on the infamous 101 for most of my commute. So what I do is I text my wife and I tell her I'm on my way home. And if she's available to talk, she will call me. And that is the moment that we go, how was your day? How was your day? And we have the work conversation. Oh my God, this happened at work and this client did this and da 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 da. The moment I walk through the door and right after my meditation, there is zero conversations about work life. Zero. Because we had them during my commute.
Yeah, that's for me personally, Matt Johnson, not going to be a possibility to do, only because of some of the things that we are doing together that we try to do. But I would tell you, Ty, for me, the drive home was more like I've been dealing with all this bullshit all day. Now I'm away from all that. I'm in the truck. I can do what I want to do with the car, whatever. I drive the hour to get home because traffic is horrible, like Berto said. But now I'm going from forget about all that shit. Let's get through this drive. I'll curse at drivers because it's fun. And then when I get home, I've had enough time in between dealing with one thing to the next thing that now when I go inside, I was like, okay, cool. What do I got to do? Yeah. And then a lot of times it was just separation of function, right? One to the other. And in the early days of the military, we all know that was impossible because depending on what you did, you could always get called. But towards the end, as you move up the ladder, don't fucking call me, dude. Nothing is going to be that important that we need to do that. And if they did call, it wasn't like an emergency on fire, So
bullshit. Private cop didn't drink water. Everybody's going to die. Bullshit.
Yeah. But I do see your point though about the drive. It just really, I think sometimes it depends on what you've had to do for that day. You know what I mean? For me, it was good because I got to just be alone. For me, that's what helps, being alone and doing your own thing. That's why there's been often times where I'm like, I wish I could go to an office every day and work. That'd be so great. To be able to leave, go to work. And then what I did forever was leave work at work. Towards the end, when I figured it out, in the beginning, you didn't figure it out. You brought it home with you every day. But I figured out how to leave it there. And now it's all here, right? And so that's why I was asking you the question, bro. How would you transition? That makes a lot of sense.
Also a visual transition, Matt. If you don't have a home office, right, that's where work stays, right? Yeah. So if you have that physical transition from a home office into your living room or your dining room, then you're golden, right? What we realized early on, or at least I did with my staff, is that if they were working out of their dining room or living room, they did not feel like there was a true separation between work and home, right? And the home is where you're supposed to be comfortable, where you're supposed to be, relaxing. It's your oasis, right? It's your little piece of the world that's only yours, right? Yeah. And if we don't separate that either physically, right, or mentally by taking a walk, that would be the equivalent of your regular commute. And you can, put on AirPods or whatever and just rock out and, still curse at drivers because it's fun and all that stuff, right? As you're walking around the blocks.
For sure. You know what, that brings up a good point, because where I live currently, I could literally go to the coffee shop and back, and it'd take about 45 minutes, honestly. So maybe every day it's what do you want for coffee? Jump in the car, go get coffee every day for me and Becky, get that, drive back home solo, and you've gone to and from, and I've went to work, kind of, right? Because for me, the thing is, a lot of that stuff, like walking and doing all those things she wants to do, I need to get better at that. I'm horrible, but I think that would make sense. Like just every morning, like we're gonna do it anyway, right? You get up and drink the coffee anyway. Might as well just go get it. Why not? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. If your budget can afford it, go ahead for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Scott, how's your meditations?
All right. Well, I was hoping you guys would talk longer because mine's going to be quick. My meditation turns into me falling asleep. I'm getting old. And for whatever reason, I feel like I have a button on my behind because as soon as I sit down somewhere, if I'm not on this podcast and I sit down somewhere, I can try to meditate. I can try to think about something. I can try to watch a movie. I can try to do anything, and I'm going to fall asleep. It just happens no matter what. I find myself now taking naps in the middle of the day. I guess my meditation would be prayer. So like when I do finally turn off all the lights, because my kids keep all the lights on, when I walk around for the last, inspection of the house to make sure all the doors are locked, the lights are out, the dogs are put away, the kitchen is clean, and all that stuff that happens at night, and I get into bed to lay down to pray, I fall asleep. I fall asleep during prayer, and the last thing I got to do is got to make sure I'm touching my wife somewhere. My foot has to touch her foot. My hand has to touch her hand. Something has to touch, and then I'm good, and I feel like I'm at peace. And I'll start prayer, and the next thing I know, I'm waking up. So I never finish to say amen. I never get into that. I start, and then I'm asleep. So my meditation currently is pretty bad because if I stop, I'm asleep.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's been working because my wife is very good at letting me sleep when I finally do fall asleep, because the majority of my day is honey do's, daddy do's, and gotta do's around the house. I'm hanging something, I'm fixing something, I'm cleaning the pool, I'm
going to Ty's house and fixing his sound.
Yeah, fixing sound. I'm do that
at somebody else's house too.
Talking to somebody about whatever they're going through and trying to give them the best advice I can give them and stuff like that. So I'm just all day long, like I can really get busy just being me. So my meditation, just being honest, it hasn't really been good because I have not prioritized time to actually meditate, and I could get better at that. So I'm not making an excuse on anything. I haven't made it a priority to do so. And now that I know that somebody's checking in to make sure it happens, I am better doing that. So I don't want to make any excuse on why or how it's been. I'm just being honest. I have not prioritized it enough to where I can really scale it to see if it's working or not.
Right. And you brought up something that's interesting, because typically as a clinician, I don't bring up religion, but prayer is actually a form of meditation, right? Whether whatever you're asking for, whether it, I love the serenity prayer, right? To know the difference between what I can control and what I can't, and to know the difference, right? And I'm paraphrasing. I'm not very religious or spiritual myself, but those kind of mantras, right, or standard prayers ground us, and they bring us back to where we need to be. And it sounds to me like your prayers are so peaceful that you end up dozing off, which is not really the effect that we want, but it is a good effect, right? Like you're getting your sleep, right? We all know that we need sleep, right? And many of us don't, right? My sleep schedule, if I don't maintain my routine, my sleep schedule, I will stay up until 4 or 5 in the morning with no caffeine,
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, I try to watch a movie with my family and try to do stuff, and I'm going to fall asleep. I'm just gonna tell you now. The last couple of times I've seen some pretty good stuff, so I stay awake. I'm one of those guys to where if the movie is, I can't watch like those Avengers and stuff like that, where as soon as I see somebody fly out of a building and fall 10 stories and catch themselves on the ledge, I'm done. I'm all the way out of that. If I see somebody get into a shootout, it's 1,000 bullets went across, and the one star never gets shot, I'm done with that movie because it's so far out of reality. I can't get into it. So, everybody's like, man, you don't like this, you don't like the Hulk, you don't like the Avengers, you don't like that. Man, listen, I'm one of it's got to be like Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society or something like that for me to stay
That's
awake.
Like, I am a real life superhero, so no.
Yeah, I just have a hard time with that. So Brooklyn gets mad at me all the time. She's like, Nico's gonna fall asleep again. Yeah, pretty much. Because as soon as I see something, I'm like, come on. on, bro. That's some bull crap. I
Yeah.
lean back in my chair, and the next thing you know, I'm out of there.
Well,
Meditation.
let's be honest, Scott.
So-
Let's be honest, though. You have some comfortable ass chairs to watch movies in. So I probably would fall asleep watching a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I'm just
So
saying.
let me
It
ask you-
would happen for sure.
Let me ask you a similar question that I asked Matt, right? So if you know that you're trying to watch a movie around 9 o'clock at night with the family and you're falling asleep, what is in your control that you can offer the family as a compromise so that you can stay awake?
As a compromise. Without that doesn't constitute me falling asleep.
Yep.
We had game night last night. That was pretty cool. So we had game night, and game night was pretty interactive because everybody was laughing, and it was fun. So it has to be something like that. So maybe I can alternate those things. But a lot of times my wife likes to catch up on shows and stuff that she thinks that she waits to watch with me. And then she waits all the time to watch it with me. And then I sit down and I get comfortable and I'm asleep. So I feel bad because she's like, bro. So I just got to figure that out. So now you see, I'm drinking an energy drink today. I'm trying to wait. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm trying to energy, and I'm just trying to maybe nap throughout the day so that when it's time to get with the family, I'm more energized and I have time to be awake and active for them because I know that they all want that.
Sure. So remember that, caffeine, I like where your head's at. However, caffeine is a stimulant, right? And it can mess with your sleep cycle. So I'm thinking more of timing. What, is there a different time that you could start these shows or these movies with the family that would help in the process of not falling asleep towards the end? Or if you do fall asleep, it's towards the end.
I'm not sure because I'm just being honest with you, Berto. I can fall asleep pretty much anytime. I had a problem when I was in the military. I had it when I was serving.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that though. Has that always been a problem for you, or that's happened, or is it just like after retirement when you're like slowed down?
No, it came in spurts because there was one point in time on the ship, and anybody who knows me who served with me on the ship know that I would work so hard throughout the day, and then like when I sat down to eat, I would fall asleep, and everybody would laugh. They'd be like, "Watch, see how long it takes for Blake to fall asleep." And I would sit there, and sometime mid talk, I'll just doze off. And so I went to the doctor for it. And one time I was sitting with the doctor, and I was talking to him about how sleepy I am and stuff like that. And I fell asleep talking to him. And he was like, "Did you just fall asleep while you were talking to me?" I was like, "I think so, sir." And he was like, "Yeah, this is pretty bad." So I don't know. I don't know if it's an issue or if it's a problem, but I just get sleepy. But I feel like I'm okay. But if I'm doing something active, like if I'm playing basketball or something like that, if I'm doing something active in the gym, working out or something like that, I'm not sleepy. I'm good. But if I just stop, I'm out of there.
You just reminded me 100% of the scene from that movie White Chicks where Marlon Wayans is coming back from the whole Sting thing and fucking shooting out from ice cream, and his wife is like trying to have a like us time, and every time she started talking, he'd be like, "Are you falling asleep?" No. I heard you.
Yeah, I heard everything you said. Right. Yeah. So look, Lady Honey comes in here. She knows. Like I'm just telling you, man. I don't know, but I'm trying to get better at it. For sure.
All right. Well, and he fails at 11.
He falls at 11 a.m. Okay.
All right. So, how for Ty and Matt, what differences have you noticed? I know Ty, you mentioned a little bit of like, it helps you kind of be able to take on the household duties, right, and not yell at Sarah, and taking some time for yourself. Have you noticed any other improvements from just simply doing this kind of practice?
I think it's definitely a quality of life. It's more of being conscious of not breaking the peace. I notice that, most of the time, if I'm in a bad mood, everybody in the house is in a bad mood or everybody's on eggshells. So it's embarrassing for that to happen. So I try to make it a concerted effort to know what's going on so that I don't get surprised by something. And I'm not really good at making plans. I don't plan much of anything as far as any vacations or anything. So just communication has helped with that because I have to make an effort not to be an asshole, I guess.
Right. And it sounds like you,
for lack of a better
you and Sarah
term.
are similar to me and Katie. She said, I'm the idea man and she's the woman with the plan.
That may be very true. Yeah. My wife is definitely much more proactive at some things that I choose not to be proactive at. And she does it all. So, I have to get in line with that. So but that's the biggest thing is like, you knew me back when I was very intense. And then now you saw me and we were at Lake Tahoe a month ago. I'm different, but I'm still the same. There's still the same shit going on here. It's just what I have to control what actually comes out. I'm still very intense. I'm still the same guy. I still yell. I still clean when I get angry, so yeah, all that thing still exists. Right. But this has helped me. This has helped me control that.
Yeah. And so, knowing that, right, that it helps you control it, right? That's really the key, right? To be mindful. So actually there's a quote that you just reminded me of that I'm going to read from Eleanor Roosevelt that says, tomorrow's a mystery. Today is a gift. That is why it's called the present. Right. And so what it's basically telling you is, that's more geared to our anxiety. Right. And there's a variation of that where the past is history. Right. The future is unknown and the present is a gift. That's why it's called the present. And being present, right, is like one of the most important things because now you can actively listen. Right. You can. If you're not understanding, that's why I asked Matt, hey, Matt, are you being serious? Like, do you need me to define these? That's seeking clarity, right? I'm trying to figure out, okay, is he joking? Is he being for real? Like, do I need to get into professor mode? Like, what are we doing here? And you provided the clarity. You're like, no, I know what it means. And then you demonstrated that you were able to deduce what it meant. And so it's that mindfulness, right? That being present, right? And mindfulness is kind of wonky and some people consider it hippy dippy bullshit. The reality is, I don't care what you call it, meditation, mindfulness, being present, whatever. Being aware, right? Situational awareness. That is really what mindfulness is. The issue is that many of us who have deployed, we've kind of burned that whole mindfulness, right? That whole situational awareness. We've been so hyped up. Like I remember putting coffee grounds in Copenhagen so that I could stay awake at the gun and still get my nicotine, right? Because you couldn't smoke in your trucks, right? And then let alone the 18 rippets that we had in the cooler in the back, right, to stay awake when we were doing 10, 12-hour missions. So you burn that, right? And then that becomes the habit. And so then when you're in intimate relationships or, close relationships, then you're just not paying attention to that. You're burned out. You just cannot. And if you're hypervigilant when you go to restaurants or you go to the movie theater or whatever, that's expending so much brain power that you may not have the capacity to deal with that when you get home. So that's why I always suggest as a transitional period, right? Where, like I said, when I get home, that's the first thing I do. Now I can be present for the dogs. I can be present for my wife. Okay. What is the plan for tonight? Right. And the same, and kind of talking about with Scott, like we feel like senior citizens because when we go to movies at Sunday at 10 o'clock. In the morning. Because I had that same problem. I would pass out when we would go to 8 o'clock movie, and I was like, "You're snoring. Wake up." So we compromise. Right? We compromise, and so now we go Sunday at 10 in the morning. Then we hit a restaurant. We get our nice meal on, and then we hit the grocery store, and then we come home. Right? Go. Our errands are done. I did my husband duties. Right? We had our little quality time, our little QT. Right? And we got grocery shopping done. Right. And we're home before 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. Man.
Then I can watch my F1 race.
That's why you're the man, bro. And we appreciate you.
Well, I would tell you, Bert, off what you just said, to some things that I key into, right? Like we all went through a point where, your situational awareness and your mindfulness was a little bit different when you were in. Is what I feel like I see now, right? I'm just going to give you an example. Today, running around all day, I had a lot of stuff to do. I go into a place to get a drink. I walk up to the counter, I order it, and as I'm looking through the room, I'm not looking through the room like you normally would. Does that make sense? I'm not looking for what I need to protect from. I'm looking for the things that bother me, right? So now I'm like a true civilian old man. Like I see all these things for what they are, right? Like that bothers me, this bothers me. So I've noticed that being aware, right? Like you're hypersensitive to things while you're in, because all the training that we're given, we're hypersensitive to the things that can go wrong. We have to be the protector, right? But we were never allowed to look around us and understand what's going on around us at home. Does that make sense? So now, as I'm looking around me when I'm at home, I see a whole bunch of things that I'm like, has it always been like this? Or am I just now like understanding and realizing that I see that? So for me, that part of it, I think is an interesting thing. We had a little bit of a conversation today, Berto, you and I, about some of that stuff. And so the things that you observe and you see sometimes is good to talk about, but then sometimes, there's a lot of times, bro, that I'm just like, holy shit. And then I just don't say anything, because I know if I say something about what I saw, it is going to 100% be taken wrong by anyone, including people that I live with, if I say it, because, I've had to learn a lot to like think before you speak, because there's no filter for what we do. But being mindful and looking around, I think that's part of what it is. Like I found that doing the things that I've done, we're talking about mindfulness, has helped me to not be as demotivated every day. So I've been in moments where I was demotivated to go do things, and I just have like sat down and, I said that I'm trying to find that balance, right? So there's been days where I sit down and I'm like, I ain't doing shit. I'm just not doing it. However, there's a lot of stuff I should be doing. So now I'm having to go, okay, well, you've started to separate that. Now you're falling into this rabbit hole, and that rabbit hole is the rabbit hole of sitting there doing nothing because you don't think that there's anything, like whatever, I don't do it, who cares? But then at the other end of it, like I should care because I need to get it done. So now I'm just kind of like, there's some part of it going through that battle of like, what's right, what's wrong, let's get it figured out again, let's find that balance, right? Like Ty says all the time, we bring that balance back, right? I need to bring the balance back to what I'm doing, because although I'm doing well in some things, it's falling off in other areas. And so I think part of what you do for us is like help us identify other areas that we can work on to be able to create balance in more than one thing, if that makes sense, right? Yeah. Not just one place, but another place. I know this sounds probably all over the place about what I'm saying, but like to bring that balance is like, it's made me aware of what I see outside of my house, not in that military way. I'm looking at things in a different perspective, right? So
sure. Yeah, actually, there's two things that you brought up in my brain. One is, it's okay. We juggle things, right? So if we're a juggler and we have 5 balls in our hand, right, and we're juggling and juggling and juggling, and all of a sudden our boss or our spouse adds another ball, well, guess what? I'm gonna have to put 2 down, right? Yeah. Like I'm gonna have to step away from something in order to accomplish something, right? And so that one's tricky, right? And I think vulnerability and being able to say, hey, I'm uncomfortable, or hey, I just simply cannot do this at this moment, right? And being vulnerable, particularly with our spouses, right? And like vulnerability is not just about talking about deep, intimate secrets and stuff. It's being able to share your emotions, right? And be able to identify with those emotions, right? If you don't know how to identify emotions, there's basically only 4. Right? Like, to be honest, right? There's anxiety, depression, there's anger, and then there's contentment or happiness. That's it. Every other word that we use to describe an emotion is rooted in those 4 emotions.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
and so go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
Also, real quick, is like on top of that, being able to recognize that you're being an asshole in those emotions, right? So for as much as you want to be able to understand them and know them, there's also a point where you have to also sit back and understand that the way you're reacting should not be the way you're reacting. And then there's a lot of times where you realize that you're doing that. And I don't know about everybody else, but I always, there's points where you try to justify why you're doing it. Like because, when you're in the military, there's a reason, like to Ty's point, right? He said on here before, like, if you deployed with him, you needed decompression when you got back, because he held like he was that guy that was like, this shit has to go this way. And so when you come back, you decompress, but that's because it had to be done. Now it doesn't have to be done, but we pretend it does. So trying to figure out that balance of how not to do that and also be present and also be a good person sometimes is a challenge, right? Because you try to justify everything that you're doing and how you're doing it. And that's where I'm working the most on that. You know what I mean? I try the best I can. And I know that trying, I used to tell everybody when I was in the Navy, trying is an excuse to fail. But I've realized that trying means that you're really working on it. So instead of saying trying, you should say, I'm really working on that, or I'm doing things to get better at that. But yeah, it's a struggle, you know, because even though, you know, sometimes like in the moment when you're doing it, you know, I'm sure everybody in here can be like, I'm being such an asshole, but you're just going to keep going. You know why? Because now I'm committed. And I've learned that if I commit to something, I'm seeing that thing through. And so to be able to stop, say, okay, that was right, and really meaning it in the manner of like, I need to get better, but also understanding you're going to do it 100 more times. I think that's the challenge, right? Is everybody involved in understanding I'm going to do this shit a lot and I'm going to say I'm sorry a lot, but then, you know, there's all those things that come with it. So
right. And so, you know, when you're giving me a great segue, but I do want to comment on, you know, a couple of the things that you said, right? Like the big issue that you have with that is that once the round is out of the chamber, it's very hard to pull that back in, right? But guess what? It is possible, right? I have literally been on the phone with customer service reps, cussing them the hell out. And then I take a deep breath and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm so sorry for my behavior. I know this is not your fault. I am very frustrated with how this situation is being handled. What can you do to help me? And then all of a sudden that changes the whole dynamic of the conversation. Being able to pull it back, and once you recognize it, it's the ability to be able to pull it back. Take a deep breath, yawn. That's another great way to get some oxygen in the brain, right? Cool down the brain, cool down the body, and then you can proceed, right? But just sometimes, you know, not even necessarily an apology, but just simply acknowledging, hey, listen, I know I'm being really, really rude right now. You know, I'm just really frustrated. Explaining that, right? And frustration is anger. Yeah. No, but you know, it de-escalates the situation because you're acknowledging the work that they're trying to do for you, and you're acknowledging that your behavior is not going to get you help on whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? So the segue though is the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset, which is exactly what you're describing, right? You're trying things. That means you likely have a growth mindset, right? So when we have a fixed mindset, this is what tends to happen, particularly with veterans. We get a fixed mindset. This is the way it is because this is the way it is. No, bro, there's about 150 shades of gray in between what you think is right and what another person thinks is right, right? So people that tend to avoid challenges have a fixed mindset, right? I'm not, why would I do that? Like, that's too much work, man. Why would I even try to do that? That's how you avoid challenges, right?
Do you feel that veterans have more of a fixed mindset or an open one? Because I feel like challenges, we were taught to overcome those. But to your point, Berto, like to overcome a challenge would be, this is how we're going to do that. I'm the sergeant first class. I'm the senior chief. This is what the fuck we're going to go do. We're going to get it done. It always just so happens to work out. So now I'm the guy. You just listen to me. So would that be, is that like a fixed mindset, or do you feel like we were trained to be a little bit more open and we just don't realize it?
So we were trained to be creative in our solutions, but the process in which we create the solutions or the process in which we do certain things is very much a fixed mindset, right? There's only one way to do things, and that's not accurate, right? But I will tell you, right? Oh my God, we need 16 freaking retrans stations because we can't talk. No, that's not the solution. I'm sorry. That's not. That was the solution 40 years ago, not today. Today, we need to go out and we need to go explore and figure out what the hell is getting in the way of that signal so that we can be more effective and efficient, right? Who the hell wants to be outside the wire for 4 hours trying to freaking find radios all over the damn country? Like, no, dude, that's silly. No. I've exchanged words with high-ranking people for sure. I will tell you because he got taped every time I did.
Oh yeah, every time we pissed somebody off, they would come tape me because I was a big dude.
And then they hated me because I'm the guy who knew the regs. And I was like, wait a minute, it is 1300. He can't be weighed in tape right now. Why? Because the regulations state he needs to be fasting. And he ain't fasting. He just ate lunch. So no.
Ah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Boom.
Hey, buddy.
Knowledge drop, bro.
Yeah, you don't mess with me in regs, bro.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
getting
yeah.
calls 6 months, almost to a year after about regulations.
So-
All right, so sorry, Matt, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so just real quick, and I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but so do you feel like where is there a time and a place for a fixed mindset? Like when should you have that mindset, and when should it be prevalent in what you're doing? Because I know we're going to talk about growth. Growth is a completely different animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be open to letting other people tell you there's a way to do things, and be like, I think that's a good idea. I'll try it, right? But is there a time and a place for a fixed mindset?
When you live on 150 acres and you're the only person there.
So never.
Never.
Okay.
Never. A fixed mindset won't let you reach your goals. It allows you to blame other people. It allows you to say, you know what, it is what it is, man. Kanye West said it the best, man. You can't tell me nothing. That's what a fixed mindset is.
Gotcha.
Right? I need to go in a restaurant and I need to sit with my back against the wall. No, you don't. Right? That's a fixed mindset. Instead of saying, hey, maybe I should try something different. Right? Maybe it's not that bad to go sit on the other chair and go and look out the window, or I don't know, have a conversation with your spouse instead of freaking looking around the damn restaurant. Right? Sure. And I know it's easier said than done, and I'm
That's
trying to make light of it. But the reality is, when you have a fixed mindset, nothing will ever work in your way. Right? Oh, you guys made it a year. Well, they just knew people. Right? Ty just called all his friends, and Scott called all his friends, and they came on the show. That's why they made it a year. Right? That is, and that might be also be true. But like, if I'm in that jealousy or that, like, I want that too, but I'm not willing to put the grind in to make it happen, then I'm going to blame everything else but what I'm in control of.
Yeah. Right.
Which is my actions.
For sure.
Right?
So I'm sorry if I derailed your conversation on these, honestly.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I appreciate the questions, right? So this one right here, the top one that we see criticism, this is the one that most veterans struggle with. Right? Because we take everything as an affront, right? When I approached Ty and said, hey, man, I love what you guys are doing. Let me help you out with some interviewing techniques so that you guys can get a little bit deeper with your guests. That demonstrated a growth mindset, right? Yeah. But he could have taken that as a critique and been like, oh, man, you're saying I'm a piece of shit, that my podcast is garbage? What the fuck? That's what a fixed mindset would take from that.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys started asking me for books and you started asking me for videos. I got to send you a couple videos anyways.
Yes.
But what I was going to say on that, Berto, is I feel like as veterans, I think it really depends on who's telling you that. You know what I mean? It depends on who tells you what they think and how much respect you have for that person, which, let's be honest, if you have an open growth mindset for everybody that's out there, it shouldn't matter who they are or where they've come from. It really shouldn't. But there are going to be people that you trust their opinion over anyone else's. And if they say something, you're going to be like, can you tell me more about that? I want to learn about it. If it was somebody that you just knew casually and you're like, hey, what's up? And they're like, you need to do better at this. And be like, man, get your ass out of here. You know what you're talking about. But I think it really depends on who's telling you that, right? Because I know for us here in this podcast right now and who we're talking with, we know the value that Ty has for what you guys have been through and what you've done and the bond that you guys have built. So for you to say something to Ty and to us ultimately makes us be like, hey, we really need to look at that, because we also, have a couple of other people we've talked to that everybody else has been like, this is my guy. So we've seen that. But again, for everybody listening, a true growth mindset, it doesn't matter who it is. You should take into consideration, at least think about it for a minute,
Exactly. And that's all that is really asked of you when you get some feedback, right? Like, I have to give feedback to my staff all the time. And I'm sure, those of you that have staff also have to give feedback. And sometimes you got to tell them, hey, man, that the way you did X, Y, and Z was not the way that we wanted it done. This is what we wanted done. And they could take that as an affront of like, oh my God, what are you talking about? I did the job. I did what you asked me for. Like, that's a fixed mindset, right? Instead of saying, okay, maybe what do I need to take a look at? You know, one of the favorite questions that I've been asking myself recently, particularly when I'm having a reaction, right? I may not be able to identify the emotion right away, but I'm having a reaction. And so I started asking myself, what is this situation trying to teach me? Is it patience? Is it I need to active listen? Is it I need to, what was the old grandma saying, right? You got 2 ears and one mouth, use them appropriately, right? Do I need to shut the hell up right now and just pay attention and listen to what's going on? Like so many things, right? And the reality is we're taught one way, right? And particularly in the military, and I only did just shy of 8 years. You guys did, 18 plus, right? So the way that we learn to do things in the Navy is much, or in the Army, it's much different than the way the civilian sector handles business, right? We tend to scare people because we use exaggerated language. You fucking fuck. What the hell are you doing?
And that's just code for, I can't believe you'd think that's a good idea. How should we do this different?
Yep.
Which should be the appropriate language and accurate language to describe the situation.
That's
right?
correct. It's like, I don't think that's a good idea. Could you give me a different suggestion? But the only way you can go, when you just said that, I love you, Al. That's Al Hero leadership right there. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, we got shit to do. It's funny how like military guys feel like curse words are the correct emphasis to what you're trying to get a point to. And if you curse a lot, people are like, man, that guy means business, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you actually sound crazy, but whatever.
Dude, and believe it or not, I had a client who got detained because he told somebody he was going to skull drag him up and down the block, and they considered it a terrorist threat. So, just saying.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So we talked about the success of others. That's when I was commenting about, me being jealous of your show, and the only reason you guys are successful is because you had all these guests that you guys already knew before. So you tend to feel threatened, like there's no way I'm going to be able to do that, right? So everything is deterministic, right? The mindset of a fixed mindset is basically that old, what was that old saying that fate is already written. So why even really put effort into it? That's basically what you're saying. Whatever's going to happen from here until I die is already written. So why would I put effort into changing my situation? Why would I do anything to improve my lifestyle, my work-life balance, my whatever it is that your life goals are, right? So something to consider there. Now, Ty, if you could go to the next one, the growth mindset. Here we go. We embrace challenges. Right. This is Matt, what you were describing, right? Like, okay, we went through some tough stuff. I was reminiscing with my wife the other day because we're plotting a big thing, and I'll let you guys know when and if we execute. However, what we were talking about was, oh yeah, when we moved to Cali, man, we racked up 35 grand in credit cards because my job wasn't secured. We were eating ramen for weeks on end, right? Our first Thanksgiving together a year after moving here was a turkey breast because that's all we could really afford. Right. And so like all those things, right, that hardship, those challenges, right, and then we approached it together and we teamed up and figured it out. That is a growth mindset. That is what helps and creates value, right? And that emotional connection and that intimacy. Nobody knows you. You guys might have gone through similar situations, right? As an E1, E2, you PCSing or whatever, right? Or even as a young couple, right? You might have already experienced something similar. But the situation and the struggle and what my wife and I went through is unique to us, right? Yeah. And just like we all share similar experiences, right? Basic training, MOS training, and then, deployments, all that stuff, right? We have shared experiences, but they're not together. Me and Ty have that deployment together, but we didn't serve our whole career together, right? So there's a lot of things. And also things that have happened in my background are going to give me the perspective that I have, so that Ty's experience might be 180 degrees different than mine for the exact same situation, right? True. So then, go ahead, Matt.
No, I was saying it's very true. I mean, I think that the biggest thing that we were taught when we got into the military was like how to interact and work with people from different places and different backgrounds, right? Like you have to. There's no choice, right? When you get to boot camp and you stand in the line, whether you're in the Army, Navy, Air Force, whatever, everybody gets there, they put on the line, whether it's feet, it's a line, it's whatever. At that moment, you're just a POS, right? There's no other description of anybody that's in this line other than none of you or anything. And then in the Navy anyway, once you get through what they call battle stations in boot camp, everybody in that room gets a ball cap that doesn't say recruit anymore. It says Navy. So when you show up to boot camp as a brand new recruit, you see all, like, I remember, man, I got to boot camp and there's these guys on the grinder and they're like, you know, at a close interval, they're dressed and they're popping quick. They're moving fast. They looked awesome. But those are guys that have been through boot camp for 5-6 weeks already, and they've kind of established that mold. And so in the very beginning of getting to the military, you instantly have something to look up and strive for. Instantly. The moment you walk there, like, I want to be those guys because they don't look like they're getting screwed with. And you realize through boot camp, you'll never do anything right. But the biggest thing I remembered is what you're talking about, bro, is like nobody is better than anybody else. Everybody's here to do the same thing. So there was no contest. It didn't matter who finished number one. It didn't matter who was better than anyone else. Like, sure, they had like top of the class, but really nobody even cared about that because it was like, we just got to get out of this. How do we get out of this together? And half the time, if the dude that's number one is number one, you try to keep him number one so nobody overtakes him because you think something's going to happen if somebody overtakes the number one guy, you know? So it was like an instant learning how to work together. What I think we miss is, we've talked about it before, when we're getting out, we do not teach people how to do that outside of the military. Like, let's learn again how to play nice. You know what I'm saying? This is what you got to do. And so I think a lot of this growth mindset for veterans would be, this is how you need to come out of this thing and integrate yourself back into who you were before you joined. Whether it was 4 years, 20 years, it doesn't matter, right? Once you've gone through boot camp and you've been into the show, because let's be honest, joining the military, going to boot camp, graduating boot camp, becoming a soldier, sailor, Marine, or an airman, you're in the show. You're now in the major leagues, 100%. You're in the show. And then when you're done with that, you're no longer a professional athlete anymore. You're not just a regular person again, and you've got to figure it out. The only difference is we don't have the money they do, so we don't have the ability to be like, I'll figure it out eventually. There's a point of that. And so this growth mindset you're talking about gets you into the realm where you feel like you can do good things, even though they taught you to do one thing. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know.
The little pause.
Described a little bit of the psychology behind it. The psychology behind basic training is we need to create a common enemy to create the what we sometimes call the trauma bond, right? Or the event bond of that group of 60 people. Like, I can't name any of them, but I know every single face, right? Like, I can still call them out. I remember on my second deployment, I ran into one of the dudes I went to freaking AIT with. Right. And it was the same way. We went through basic training and AIT together. So, like, you know, that experience of those challenges and trying to figure it out and trying to figure out how you're going to maneuver, right? Well, nobody gets a manual for life, right? Unfortunately, there is no manual, right? And so I follow the philosophy of kind of Kevin Smith, the director. His father used to tell him, you know, surround yourself with people that say why not, right? Versus people that say why. And so what do I mean by that, right? Like, I gave my wife a proposal on Saturday. We were kind of chopping it up, and I came up with this crazy idea. And she was like, yeah, why not? Let's explore that. Dude, by Monday, I had 22 text messages during the workday. She had created an Excel sheet. You know what I mean? Like, that's a ride or die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what I mean by saying why not, right? If it sounds like a good idea, like, why not? Like, just you guys, hey, let's start a podcast. Why not? Let's make it happen. What do we got to do? Right? Instead of saying, well, why would you do that? It seems so much work. You know?
Yeah. That was the response when we decided to do it, Berto. I was like, let's do a podcast. We're all like, why not? Let's do it. Like, honestly, it was the end. Yeah, why not? We can do it. Let's go.
What are we gonna call ourselves? I don't know. What about this? No. What about that? Mm-mm. What about that? That's all right. What about this one? Yep, that works. That sounds good. All right, well, how we gonna do a logo? Look at this one. That one looks good. Well, I got two. That one looks good too.
Sure, man.
Hey, how about we make cartoon images of ourselves? Okay, well, shit, I want to do it. What about?
I think that's my proudest moment, that I am a cartoon image, dude. Not my proudest moment. I might have kids and I was married and they're all super important to me. But when I go to a place and I share, like, you know, I have like a business card on the phone to show the podcast and everything, and people see that cartoon logo and Scott's talked about it and they're like, okay. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Okay. That's me in the cartoon. I'm like legit, dude. I have a cartoon. I might as well be on South Park one day. You know what I mean? Just saying.
So speaking of setbacks, that's part of it, right? Like when we embrace the challenges, we tend to persist over setbacks, right? Think about, you know, deployments, right? And, you know, for you guys that were on ships, right? Like, I'm going to tell you right now, that's why I didn't sign up to the Navy. There's no way I would survive 6 months on a fucking ship, let alone a sub. But that is part of, you know, you accept the challenge, right? And, you know, for us, it was deployments. For you guys, or even some kind of the crazy trainings that we did, like Ty did Air Assault School and Airborne School. I did some biggest training with SF. Like, those were challenges, and there were even setbacks, right? So, like, I view the setbacks in my military career were more like my weight, right? Like I genuinely had a tough time managing my weight, and then the injuries that came with the things that I was doing, right? And so those are setbacks. So you embrace those setbacks. You figure out how to do physical training, right? PT, or you know, and then or physical therapy, and then you start progressing and getting back, right? But you got to embrace that. And like Matt, you were saying, right? You know, we're not 18, man. We ain't going to recover with only 4 hours of sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do have to scale up any physical activity, right? And even mental activity, right? So one of the things, again, right, that I do every morning, our local NPR station has a little mini crossword puzzle. And I solve it, and my wife and I have a deal. It doesn't matter how you solve it, just solve it. And we compete for the fastest time. That's one little game that we play. And then we got some other New York Times games that we do the same thing with. And that's kind of like, you know, gives us something else to talk about, right? Like, oh man, that was really hard. Oh yeah, fuck, I struggled with that one and I couldn't get this clue. And it just generates a whole, and then conversation just flows from there into wherever we're supposed to be talking, right? So again, embracing those things, learning from criticism, right? Today, would you rather hear, hey, you fucking fuck, you are not doing this right, your fucking camera's too bright, Matt needs fucking makeup because his fucking skin is really bright on my screen, right? That kind of shit, right? Or would you rather hear, hey, Matt, I think your lighting might be a little bit off, I think you need to adjust it. I'm just messing with you, dude. I'm making shit up. But
anymore, bro. I'm good to go. Look, I will tell you this, Berto. I think that criticism part is the one part for me that I now and always have been okay with. I'm okay with you not liking what I'm doing and saying that you don't like what I'm doing, and I'll kind of read and look at it, and if it applies, I'll fucking bring it on. But if it doesn't apply, then I just kind of ignore it. And I think me and Scott have had kind of the same thing on that with a lot of stuff we're doing, right? Because people are going to see what you do, they write what you do, and criticism is one of those things that comes with what you're doing here. People aren't going to like what you do, and they're going to say shit. Just don't let it bother you. It's okay. If it's relevant, though, then you might want to.
Right, and that's the ask. Learn from that criticism, right? Take it in.
It's hard to ignore the criticism that you feel like is a personal attack that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and you're like, okay, well, it's time for me to let you know how I really feel about you, and that is where we're at right now. So many people.
That's because they hit an insecurity.
Yeah.
If you were secure and able to manage it, right? Like if somebody tells me I'm stupid, I'm like, okay, bro, whatever. I got two college, I got two bachelor's and a fucking master's degree. Like, go kiss my ass, right? But if then somebody critiques my weight, right, and it's a more of a personal attack, okay, motherfucker, like who the fuck do you think you are to tell me that I'm fat? You know what I mean? Like, so that's an insecurity of mine, right? Like, and so that hits a little bit different. That's like lime and salt in a wound. You know what I mean?
Do you feel that makes you angry, or do you feel that makes you embarrassed?
Oh no, I mean I've processed it. I'm good with my. I don't have a body shaming or anything like that. But back
Like,
in the day,
in the beginning,
hell
was
yeah,
it
it
more
made
of
me
an
fucking
anger
angry. Like,
or an embarrassment?
when I was in, it was more embarrassment because I knew what I was supposed to do and I wasn't doing it.
Right. But
Right.
what's
And then
coming out though, right? You know what I mean? Like for me, I think it's always like an embarrassment thing. And then like when you'll walk by a store, I struggle with this now. You walk by a store and you look in the mirror and you're like, for real, dude? Like, no. I looked at myself today and I thought I was doing pretty good. And then I'm looking in the mirror like, you fat fuck, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like you tell, like, do you think it's like anger versus embarrassment? Because I feel like things like that for me is like if I know I control that, I think it's more embarrassing to me than it is an anger. Like I'm angry at that person because I want to tell them to go screw themselves, but inside I'm kind of like, you fucking lazy piece of shit. You can fix that. You just choose not to, right?
For some, I mean, there's biological reasons and genetic reasons why people can and cannot lose weight. But I think what you're describing, like at least for me, I did a lot of malicious compliance when I was in, and Ty will tell you, right? Like Ty, I don't know if Ty remembers this, but we were in Iraq, dude, and I don't know what the hell he got pissed off at me for. And he was like, "Get down and fucking," because I said table salt. He was like air salt, and I was like table salt, and he got mad, right? And then it became a battle of the wills, man. And that joker kept me down in the front of the rest for about an hour, and I did not budge. And the reason he let me up was he's like, "Damn, dude, you are hard headed. All right, get up. Let's go. Let's go do whatever we need to do." But no bullshit.
But a good leader in the military goes, so you are bullshitting on those PTs. You can sit down there for a long time. If you want to do it, you can do it, right? Like that's what we used to say anyway.
Right. So learning from criticism, right? And then finding lessons and inspiration. That's the comment that I made earlier, right? What is this situation trying to teach me? Yeah. Right? What is this person trying to teach me? And it might be patience, right? Not everybody may be as quick to make decisions, right? I tell this story from when my wife and I first got together. She ended up rear-ending a pickup, and we didn't know that the car was totaled, right? And so I get called. I'm thinking I'm the fixer, right? That's why I'm being called. So I show up, I scan, I see my wife sitting on the curb. She's not crying, she's not hurt. I assess the situation. She's fine. Boom. I go to the cops. I go to the tow truck. I go to the other driver, get everybody corrected. Then I go to my wife. And then what do I get? I get an earful because I did not check on my wife first. And no matter how I justified that, no, I checked on you. I scanned. You were fine. I needed to handle this so that now I can address you. That's not what you wanted. Yeah. Right.
The next statement in that sentence, Berto, the next statement in that is like, you will not treat me like one of your soldiers.
Yep. Exactly. Right. And they're right. They're not. They're supposed to be our life partner, our business partner in this adventure or entrepreneurship that we call life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that leads us to all this gives a greater sense of free will. Right. So by approaching things from a different perspective, from a sense of curiosity, right, that tends to allow us to then look at life as, okay, we have free will, we have control, we can do this, right? I'm going to take that feedback that guy gave me, I'm going to think about it, and if it applies, I'll make changes. If it doesn't apply, then we drive on, right? One of the mistakes that we tend to make in an effort to sound humble is when somebody pays us a compliment and says, "Hey, Matt, man, I know you were busy all day, but man, hey, I appreciate those emails you sent out and those flyers you sent out. Man, great job." Oh, come on, man. I was just doing what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Right. So what did you actually just do?
I just shit on their ability to tell me I did a good job and appreciation for me. I just told them, I don't care what you think.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Where a simple thank you would have been suffice.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. So those other two handouts are for, like, if anybody wants to work on that stuff, they can read through it and go, and it's basically a handout that you fill out. But yeah, so hey guys, I'm looking at the time. My wife just got home, so I'm gonna head out. But because I haven't caught up with her all day today. Yeah. However, I do want to say, congratulations, you guys. A year mark, man. That's huge, dude. I know many podcasts don't even make it 20 episodes. So great job. Keep up what you guys are doing, and just let me know whenever you want me to come back on, dude.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right. Love you guys, man.
Berto.
Have a good one.
All right.
Yeah, Berto. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Of course. You're welcome.
All right.
So, Matt.
The 20 minutes he's on, I feel like I'm ready to tackle the world. And then you get off and you go, what am I supposed to do? What did he say to do? I can't remember what he said to do.
Yeah, I mean that's the good part of like bringing him into the fold and him being a licensed clinical social worker. Like I've known this guy since 2004, and we've worked through a lot of my 7 deployments, my mother passing away, all kinds of a divorce. He was there for that. He's known Scott met my 23-year-old today, and my 23-year-old used to jump off the stairs when he was 3 years old and try to choke Berto. Back when we were running around together in our 20s. So having someone like that to be able to bounce off of, and then I know we were kind of like therapizing each other and shit like that for this episode, but I mean this kind of just shows the audience that this is what therapy's like. It's literally sitting down with someone that you can build a rapport with and just start talking about things. And there's very clinical things, and then there's going to be ways that you're going to get through that. And you see how Berto is not going to tell us what to think or tell us that we're wrong. He's just going to suggest another way that maybe we think about that. Yeah. And that's what I love about him. That's what I love about this group. I took some notes here, and here's what I'll say about you guys is, Matt, you've always been our rock. You've always been the one that's kind of the moderator to, check our azimuth, or in the Army. I don't know what they say in the Navy. Check which way the fucking boat's going. I don't know.
Yeah, we're going straight. We're going straight.
There you go. But I love seeing your eyes light up when you start speaking about motivating and what gets you motivated and not, because that's everything about you 3 guys that are on the podcast with me is like a piece of myself. Scott is a profound, patient. He's concise with his words of wisdom. And we were waxing poetic out on my driveway today when he came over. We were just talking about that very thing. It gets us through the week. So to be able to grow with you guys through this year, to be able to use some of the stuff that y'all talk about in y'all's marriage, that I can maybe do something better in my marriage with my kids, with my friends. Because Matt, you've talked at length with me about my struggles with the older people at the VFW. I yelled at some people. That caused some great consternation for me, and I'm kind of scarred from my experience in the VFW, not because it was bad, because it brought out a lot of demons that I had been carrying since 2017 when I got out, and I had no decompression from that. So I had no drive home, I had no walk, and in this last year, I wasn't bullshitting when I said last week, in this last year, this has helped me and not just deal with the things that I did over my deployments, which I think that I've learned a lot of things because I've been in a lot of therapy and I've listened, 2 ears, 1 mouth kind of thing. I've had to humble myself, and being able to do that and knowing that I can count on you guys and knowing like kind of what makes y'all tick, it definitely makes life a lot easier. It makes my life better. I love that you guys know my kids. So I don't know why I'm getting so mushy, but I feel like this episode was more about like what it is to go through therapy. Our experiences are different. They were in the Navy. I was in the Army. I deployed a lot and I was totally tactical. Scott and Matt may not have deployed as much, but the leadership things that they talk about in the development of leaders, the recruitment of the Army, and the things they had to negotiate to do that, I didn't have that leadership quality because I was always tactical and I was always getting ready to deploy and deploying. So I know Afghanistan and Iraq a lot better than I know, South Houston.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
And so thank you for helping me on that journey. I know I don't talk that much, and I probably talked more than I have the whole entire first year at one time, but you guys bring it out in me, baby. Love you.
You should talk more. I would tell you that. If we go into another year, and if I would say there's anything that I think could come more, is you have a lot of great things to say, and I feel like you should jump in and say more of them.
Because, I want to. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Now that the mic sounds so great, bro. You can
now that Mike Austin, we're good.
Yeah. It's time for you to talk, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Podcast up. It's time. You sound like a real deal podcaster right now. That's what it is. If you
That's because my sound is so good.
there you go, baby. You're in. You know what I mean? You already You already came across the line. You're certified, baby. Certificate certified. 1 year, 365 degree turnaround. We done it. You're in there.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I appreciate you saying that, Ty, and I'll tell you from my end, there's been a lot that you've helped me with since I've met you. Of like, I have talked to you about a whole bunch of things, from joining the VFW to being who you are in the military and getting out of the military. Not to get too far into those things, because some of those things you want to talk about with your friends and leave them there. But you've helped me realize that everybody, no matter what you've done, all has a purpose and a reason by which it was done, right? Whether it was military or when you're getting out and what you've done. So I appreciate that. I do this with three guys that, there's no judgment, right? Number one. And we want people to come on and tell their story and tell us about what they've done. So there's no judgment on those people. The thing that's great is that you can come on here and say what you want. And then after that, you feel good, because as long as you can tell how you feel, I think that's what's most important in the world. And there's not enough of that right now. So I just appreciate you guys allowing us to do that. You being there to listen. Scott, same thing. I appreciate all you guys. Al's there for us when we need him. Right now, he's probably pooping on the toilet or something, but he's thinking about us while he's doing it. I promise you.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Our boy Al.
Yeah. Well, this has been good, man. Good time to reflect back on a year. Bring on some people that helped us in the beginning. And we're going to keep on going. You have not heard the end of us. We're just getting started. We're having fun. But I will tell you guys, listen, subscribe, follow. Come on, man. Be a part of the family. We're here for you. We want you to be. Our family can grow as big as you want it to grow. There is no penalty for how many people come in and join us. We want all of you guys to. Our goal is to reach as many people as we can, have as many conversations as we can, and help as many people we can go through whatever it is that they're going through, and have a platform to tell their story, because everybody who's alive has a story to tell. We wish you guys well. We wish you guys everything that you want in life. And most importantly, we want you to come back. So until we get back next week, you guys be safe. Be careful, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones. And until we meet again, this is the Triple Threat Bet Podcast. I'm going to bring my man, Matt Johnson, and my man, Ty Cobb, back to wax poetic one last time. And we're going to get up out of here. My man, Matt Day, what you got to say to the people before we roll out this evening?
So, I mean, we said a lot about what we've been working on in the podcast. I do want a selfish plug for Got Your Six. We have a lot of initiatives we're working on right now. We have a lot of nonprofits that we're working with. We have a lot of people that we're trying to help continue their mission. So sameflagsameoath.com. Go to that website. Check out our merchandise, our T-shirts. Take a look at who we're supporting. Look at our Headstones for Heroes page. Help some veterans get recognized for their service in their final resting place. Just, if you want to support us as a podcast, support those people. Jump in. Go take a look at it, order it. If there's something on there that you don't see that you want, if there's something that you would like to look at better, like, message us. Let us know what you're looking for. We're open for it. But the biggest thing that we would appreciate is you to support us so we can support others. And that's what this podcast is about. That's what Got Your Six is about. And thank you, everybody, for joining. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week.
My man, Mr. Wax Poetic himself in the building. Sounding good. Sounding like a true podcaster, because he is a true podcaster. He is my true friend. My man, Ty Cobb, what you got for us, brother?
Man, I am extremely happy for the podcast. I'm extremely happy of the guests we've had. I love the experience we've had with them. And in this episode, I really do think that if veterans can listen to this and maybe have a little bit of a growth mindset, open mind, whatever it is you want to call it, and just try one or two of those tools, and it makes your quality of life that much better, and then you reach that plateau, then you'll reach for one more. You don't have to do everything all at once. Do a few things. Pick this, pick that, but let's do something. All right. Love you.
We had to live life like the caterpillar. caterpillar moves rather slow, but think about how many steps he takes in that process. I like that one. That's one I just thought about just now. You know what I mean? The caterpillar step. I'm gonna use that one. But the caterpillar doesn't move too fast. But think about how many steps that caterpillar actually takes just to move that slow pace. Life is a long race, even though it seems like it goes by fast. But appreciate, sit back and reflect on the things that you have. Always know that there's somebody who is worse off than you, and you can't help them unless you help you. So help yourself so that you can be a better help to someone else. That's my mission. That's my words. I love you guys, man. I'm DJ Royalty. This is a Triple Threat Bet podcast. My man Al Hero, I hope you get well soon, brother. Happy birthday to my son Donovan. I love you. I love all of you guys, family, friends, foes, whatever. There's no love lost here. Life is love. Love yourself. I'm out of here. This is DJ Royalty. You guys take it easy. Peace.